Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
It is the final countdown. Last weekend, the very last weekend of the U.S. presidential election campaign. Harris and Trump both campaigning in swing states, campaigning hard. And it is not clear to me who is winning. It depends on the polls you look at. It depends on the media that you tune into. It depends on who's talking. I don't know what the reality of it all is. I get the impression it's close. I hear other people saying, oh no, Trump's going to win for sure. I don't know. I do know that we're going to go live to a Trump rally, and we'll try and pick up the Harris rally at some point as well that is happening tonight, or whatever is happening. We're going to provide some live coverage. I'll dip in, I think, into some of the top news stories of the day as well, and we might even have an opportunity to go to the phones and let you weigh in on the conversation too.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV.
The entire world is watching.
On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Okay, I'm back, and we might even talk tonight a little bit about Peanut the Squirrel, the social media superstar that was euthanized before his time because of government overreach. But let's go to Trump, Salem, Virginia, talking about the McDonald's thing right now.
In conclusion, with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala, and we are going to save America. We will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to Virginia. We're going to get them here for you, Glenn. You're going to have so many factories, you're going to say, please, Mr. President, we can't handle it anymore. We have too many jobs. He's going to come to Washington with hung. He's going to bring hung cow, and they're going to say, we have to see the president. And they're going to say, Mr. President, Virginia cannot handle so much business. We cannot handle it. You're getting too many companies wanting to come in. It's too much. I'll say, I'm sorry, Glenn. I want them to keep coming.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
Too many jobs.
This was a great thing. What a great job you did. This was really, really good.
They can have too many jobs. Too many. Can't handle it.
We will build
right.
American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. And I will end the war in Ukraine. And I will stop the chaos in the Middle East. October 7th would have never happened if I were president. And I will prevent World War III from happening. We're going to prevent it. And we've never been so close to World War III. We have never, ever been so close to it, with the Middle East all over the place. You know, the great leader of Hungary, Viktor Orban, he made a statement very recently. He says it a lot. They said, what's happening with the world? It's blowing up in the Middle East. It's blowing up with Russia, Ukraine. Nobody knows what's happening, what's going on. He said, put Trump back as president. When he was president, there were no problems with the world. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly deserve. And we will strengthen and modernize our military. I rebuilt our entire military. Then we gave a nice chunk of it to Afghanistan. How'd you like that? What a horrible time. I think it was the lowest point in the history of our country. 13 dead soldiers. I got to know their parents and relatives a lot, really well. They wouldn't even call them, they've never gotten one call from Kamala or Crooked Joe. Never got a call. Think of it. We left billions of dollars of equipment behind. They had a parade the other day. Wasn't that nice, showing our equipment that they got from the stupid American leader? They had a parade, yeah, through their main boulevard, showing brand new armored vehicles, brand new tanks, brand new goggles, you know? Thank you. Thank you. What a nice group. Where's that group? Let me see. Stand up. Let me see. Whoa. We're going to get you a better seat next time. You're right at the top row. We will build a missile defense shield around our country. It's going to be made, a lot of it right here in Virginia. It's going to be made in the USA. We're going to rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are going to build up our nation, defend our borders, and protect our lands and our citizens. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope and our beautiful American dream. We're going to have our American dream back very soon. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig. You have to get out and vote. That's all you have to do. I'm one of the few politicians that comes up. Can you believe I'm calling myself a politician? I just realized that's a terrible thing to say. But I'm one of the few politicians that, I don't want your money, I don't want anything, I just want that vote. You got to get out and vote. I don't want your money. For the past 9 years, we have been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. We have very, very evil people and forces. With your vote in this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. It belongs to you and you. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country. And 3 days from now, it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. They will be great years, and we're starting from so far behind, but they will be great years. With your help, from now until Election Day, 4 days, even less, we will restore America's promise, and we will take back the nation that we love. We are one family, one people, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in, we will never give up, we will never back down, and we will never ever surrender. Together, we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. Thank you. We will win, win, win. Thank you. Thank you very much. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you all. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, Virginia.
All right. There it is. It's the Trump dance. He's just, I have to say, the safety vest definitely made him look thinner. Definitely. But I think he looks better dancing in the suit, with his suit coat on. And I'm glad to see he has his red tie back on. It just doesn't, it's missing something when the tie isn't red. Is there some significance specifically to the red tie? Other than, of course, it represents, I guess, that he's Republican, or in Canada, it would represent that you are a liberal. I remember Ontario Premier David Peterson always wore a red tie. Liberal, of course. Although he was kind of a blue liberal, that guy, David Peterson. Very kind of business-oriented, as I recall. So sort of a blue liberal wearing a red tie. Trump with his red tie. But the other day, he was wearing a gold-colored tie. I believe that was when he did the interview with Musk. Or, sorry, Joe Rogan. Not Musk. He's a heck of a dancer, though. And those Trump bobbleheads just don't... They're fun, but they just don't quite do him justice. See what I mean? Look at the way he moves. Jeez, what a campaign. Oh, man. So there he is. Now, these two candidates, Trump and Harris, have been campaigning in really the same areas in the last leg of this campaign, this election cycle. They nearly crossed paths today, in fact. Yeah, it's down to the nitty-gritty. And they are going after really the same voters in the same places because it is strategic campaigning. So there they are in North Carolina, and they they darn near crossed paths at the airport. So they're focusing on these swing states. That's why Trump is where he's at tonight. And I think it's close. Now, you guys may have a different take on it because you're, I don't know, whatever media you're watching, whatever polls you look at, that gives you your own sense of the way things are in terms of voter attitudes right now and how things are going at the advanced polls, but I'm not sure. I don't know what to believe. Everything I'm reading, like not I shouldn't say that. As I look at when I amalgamate everything together, it looks to me like it's probably very, very close. But I do see some polls on both sides suggesting their candidate, Harris or Trump, is about to enjoy a landslide victory. So it's all over the map. It depends on the poll and how they're skewing the numbers, how they're interpreting the data, how they choose to do that. And then a lot of these polls, as you know, are done in a way that is meant to influence public opinion, not really reflect it. So who the heck knows? We're about to find out, though, on Tuesday. Let's take a little break here. When we come back, we're going to dip into a little bit of the Kamala Harris action, and we've got a lot of other stuff to cover tonight as well. And I think we'll probably get to go to the phones, too. Don't go away.
He's a fighter. He's a survivor. President Trump, defiant, strong. He is determined to make America great again. Pay tribute to the 45th President of the United States with this collectible t-shirt from the Maverick News Memorable Moments collection. Even a would-be assassin's bullet could not stop him. Instead, he emerged with his fist in the air ready to fight. For freedom. Get your Trump Fighting for Freedom t-shirt with any donation of $30 or more to Maverick News. There are 2 iconic artistic designs to choose from. But there is only one way to get these. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Support free speech. Free media. Support Maverick News. Call 1-866-248-1490 or order online at supergeeks.tv.
Okay. You probably don't want me to run any of Kamala Harris, but we're gonna anyway. A little bit of time to give some balance here. Let's give Kamala Harris some time on screen and listen to what she has to say. Here she is in North Carolina, Charlotte.
Just to imagine, right, what this means and the choice that is in front of us. Imagine, and let's ask the friends who are not here to imagine the Oval Office. You've seen it on TV, right? Imagine the Oval Office, and if he is elected, Donald Trump on day 1 would be sitting in that office, stewing over his enemies list. But when I am elected, I will walk in on your behalf working on my to-do list. And at the top of my list is bringing down the cost of living for you. That will be my focus every single day as president. I will give a middle-class tax cut to over 100 million Americans. I will enact the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging on groceries. Fight to make sure that hardworking Americans can actually afford a place to live. And if you are caring for an elderly parent, my plan will cover the cost of home care under Medicare. we are fighting for a democracy and the right of people to speak their mind, but right now I am speaking. So bringing down the cost of living for you includes making sure that we are caring for those who are caring for others. It's okay, y'all. Democracy can be complicated. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. This is what democracy looks like. So included in the work we will do is ensuring that Medicare covers the cost of home health care for seniors. And I'll tell you, a lot of how I think about these policies is based on my own experiences. When my mother was sick, I took care of her. It's all good. Hey, listen, it's all good. And look, we all want that war in the Middle East to end. We want the hostages home. And when I am president, I will do everything in my power to make it so. So much about what I care about on your behalf is truly about dignity. It is about dignity. It is about the importance of lifting people up and not trying to tear them down. Which is why my plan will lower the cost of child care, cut taxes for small businesses. Do we have small business owners in the room? Here we do. I love our small businesses. You all are part of the big backbone of America's economy. Keep doing what you do. I love our small businesses. You are. And our work will include lowering health care costs, because where I come from in terms of how I think about this, access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. On the other hand, Donald Trump's answer to the financial pressures you face, same as it was last time. Another $1 trillion in tax cuts for billionaires and big corporations. And this time he will pay for it with a 20% national sales tax on everything you buy that is imported: clothes, food, toys, cell phones. A Trump sales tax that economists have estimated will cost you an additional $4,000 a year.
That's not really accurate.
And on
what
top
she said.
Of that, Donald Trump still wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which would throw
It's not a tax on everything. It's tariffs on some things.
And take us back.
The Democrats
to
are doing the
time
same
when
thing.
Insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. You remember what that was? Well, we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. And we are not going back because ours is a fight for the future. And it is a fight for freedom. Like the fundamental freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and do. And we all remember how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court. And with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, they did as he intended. And now in America, 1 in 3 women lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban, including North Carolina and every state in the South except Virginia. Many with no exceptions, even for rape and incest, which is immoral. And understand, Donald Trump is not done. He would ban abortion nationwide. He would restrict access to birth control. He would put IVF treatments at risk. And get this, force states to monitor women's pregnancies. Just Google Project 2025, which still I can't believe they put in writing. And I think everyone here knows, one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government shouldn't be telling her what to do. Not the government, and not Donald Trump. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom nationwide, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly. Proudly. So, North Carolina, I'm here to ask for your vote. I'm here to ask for your vote. And here is my pledge to you. As President, I pledge to seek common ground and common sense solutions to the challenges you face. I am not looking to score political points. I am looking to make progress. And I pledge to you to listen to those who will be impacted by the decisions I make. I pledge to you to listen to experts, to listen to people who disagree with me. Because you see, unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe that people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I will give them a seat at the table. That's what real leadership looks like. That's what strong leadership looks like. And I pledge to always put country above party and self, and to be a president for all Americans. So that is my pledge to you, Charlotte. And let me then ask, who here has already voted? To your friends and your family and your neighbors. And seriously, please share with them. You've taken such time out of all the other obligations you have. You've taken such time to be here. So please do share with them why you have taken this time and what your perspective is on this election. It's so important. And please encourage people. I love you back. Let's encourage everyone to know the strength of their voice. And for anyone who hasn't voted yet, look, first of all, no judgment, but please do get to it. and please please take a moment to think about your plan for voting, about when and where you will vote. Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th. Polls are open here in North Carolina from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Go to iwillvote.com for any information you need about when and where to vote, because listen, we need everyone to vote, North Carolina. You all will make the difference in this election. You will make the difference. So look, it all comes down to this. We are all here together because we love our country. We love our country. Yes. USA! 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 We love our country. USA! And here's what we know. Here's what we all know. When you love something, you fight for it. You fight for it. And I do believe it is one of the highest forms of patriotism, of our love, the expression of our love for our country, to fight for its ideals and to fight to realize the promise of America. The promise of America. And look, I have always believed in our nation's promise because I have lived it. I grew up as a child of the civil rights movement. My parents would take me to the marches when I was in a stroller. And what we all know about that time is there were folks from every background, every walk of life, coming together to fight for freedom and for opportunity. Right? And growing up, I saw how hard my mother worked to give her daughters the same chances our country gave her. And I was blessed to have family by blood and family by love who instilled in me the values of community and compassion and faith. And I have spent my life fighting for people who have been hurt and counted out, but who never stop believing that in our country, anything is possible. I have lived the promise of America. And today I see the promise of America in everybody who is here, in all of you, in all of us. We are the promise of America. We are the promise of America. In the fathers and the mothers and the grandparents who work every day for our children's future. In the women who refuse to accept a future without reproductive freedom. And the men who support them. I see it in Republicans who have never voted for a Democrat before, but who are putting Constitution of the United States over party. I see the promise of America every day in the young leaders who are voting for the first time. Where are you? Where are you? Let me see you. Right? I love you guys. I love Gen Z. I love Gen Z. I love this generation. And because, you know, here's the thing. You all are rightly impatient for change. They are impatient for change. You are determined.
Boo. Something happened. We froze just a little bit there. What's going on? Hang on. I don't know. Hang on. They're going to come back. They're going to come back. You're coming back. We're coming back. Here we go.
It really was to try and
Something about this Trump era, she says.
The strength of a leader is based on who you beat down. Instead of what we know, the real strength of a leader is based on who you lift up.
That was a weird little thingy that just happened there, wasn't it?
Let's be intentional about building community, and let's be intentional about building coalitions, remembering that the vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us. And there is power in that. There is power in that approach, and it will strengthen our country. And so I'll leave you with this. Let's remember, and please remind everyone, your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. And don't let anyone ever take your power from you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I agree with that.
Right? So, North Carolina, today
Voting's important.
I ask you, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. God bless you.
Okay, but can she dance? That's what I want to know, is can she dance? Is she going to do a dance? Oh, no, nothing yet. Nothing yet. I do believe that is Bon Jovi standing behind her. And that's what she's been relying on, is a lot of star power to propel her forward during this final leg of the campaign. At each stop, she has celebrities in tow, or actually maybe even towing her up onto the stage. That's why you're getting some of these big crowds. You know, they're having, sizable crowds to get in there and see these concerts that are put on and listen to the celebs talk. The question is, are the crowds there for Kamala Harris, or are they there for the celebrities? I don't know. We will find out. Maybe on Tuesday, maybe on Wednesday, whenever they finish tallying up the votes. Don't know. I used to think you'd have an election on election day, and late that night sometime you get the election results, with the networks projecting and predicting who's going to win, and telling you, we are hereby declaring candidate X the winner based on the poll results coming in from these number of polls, with so many polls reporting, so many left to report, and then they could project forward and determine who was likely to win, and then eventually get to the point where they could declare a winner even before all the ballots were counted. But it's been so close these last few elections, especially with Trump, that it takes longer to do that. So that's what's going on, has been going on today. Swing states, Trump, Harris, almost like literally kind of crossing paths, almost meeting. They're going after the same voters and the same geographic locations, because it's really coming down to these swing states. Obviously, it's very, very, to me, it's obvious that it's close just because of the way they're campaigning. So let's take a little break here. We'll come back, and we will be going to the phones as well. So don't go away, because we have more right after this.
The information war is raging. Truth without integrity is worth nothing. Maverick News. Because those who have power and those who seek it must be held accountable.
The world is watching.
Join our family of truth seekers. Donate today and add your voice to the chorus of Maverick Knights. Donate at maverickdonations.com. Truth. Integrity. It's the Maverick way. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, we have our first caller on the line for tonight. John Scotty Rimby out in Western Canada. You've been keeping an eye on the election campaign. We were seeing the swing states targeted by both Harris and Trump this weekend. What are you thinking? Who's ahead? Who's going to win? Give us your thoughts.
Hey, well, good evening, Maverick News, all the way out from Western Canada. But at first thought, Rick, all the veteran people are out selling poppies for November the 11th. So Remembrance Day. So everybody remember our veterans. Anyways, boy, she's coming right down to the wire, Rick, with Comrade Harris and Mr. Donald J. Trump. What do you think about the garbage truck?
I thought it was hilarious, his speech. When he was talking about how he was told the vest makes him look thinner, so he agreed to wear it. I thought that was just hilarious, actually.
Brilliant, stroke of brilliance. My friend in Ontario who's going for Harris, she figured Trump looked better in the back of the garbage truck than in the cab of the truck.
Well, that just shows how divided people are and how emotional things are, I think, at this point.
Well, it's anybody's game, eh? It's just going to be right down to the wire, eh? Tuesday night. Do you think we're going to have any firm results, Rick? I mean, of course, I'm pulling for my man Trump with 275, 280 electoral college. But if it's not clear cut, Rick, Tuesday night, we're going to be kind of up in the air for what, 48, 72 hours, you think?
I have no idea what to expect, John. This whole election has been so strange. As much as the last two elections were odd, strange, this one has been even, I hate to use the word, but it's been weirder. I think it's so close that, yeah, I really doubt we will get a final result on election night, but who knows? Some people are out there saying, oh no, it's going to be a landslide one way or the other.
I don't know. I'm hoping, my gut is telling me there's going to be a lot of 11th hour secret voters for Trump. They're going to get in there, put their X on Donald J. Trump, number 47 president, hopefully elect. But they're never going to admit it, Rick, that they voted for Trump.
You still think there are a lot of people out there who are sort of like closet Trump voters who just don't want to admit it in public?
Oh, I think so. Geez, Rick, if we could vote in Alberta for Trump in the oil business, we'd push him over the 270 electoral college. Laugh. Wink, wink for sure.
I don't know. It seems like I think there's less of the the closeted voter out there these days. I think people are really wearing their political hearts on their sleeves more so than they have over the past 8-9 years or so. Myself, I that's my impression. Still some, but not as much as there was.
But I think it's anybody's game still at this point, Rick, whether you're for Comrade Harris or Trump. I think it is too close to call. Mm-hmm. And look, there's 3.5 full days until people, come out on Tuesday. And I mean, I think this thing is such a roller coaster, such a soap opera as the Young and the Restless as the stomach turns with another world. This is another world, Rick, with this election. I mean, any false move now, Rick, with emotional voters, she can go any way, eh? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm not sure what issues are really pushing voters this time. Like, I don't know what the main issue is. The economy is there. You have the issues of the wars in Gaza and Ukraine. Those are factors. You have immigration. You have inflation, fiscal policy. You have it's like a lot of social issues, abortion, but I'm not sure which of those issues is paramount. What do you think?
I think they're all paramount, Rick. I think the border is big time important. The economy, there is I don't know how you feel about this abortion thing is a really sensitive subject with women and different Dems, Libertarians, and Republicans, but I think it's anybody's game. We've still got 3 full days to go, and you are going to be running an election show Tuesday night with Joseph, are you?
Oh, with a bunch of people, maybe even you. Hang on, I'm going to take another call, and I'm going to come back to you, okay? I might have to call you back. Hello, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello, go ahead. Rick?
Canada RV, welcome back to the show, sir.
10 for 10. Is that okay? I can make sure it's okay.
Yeah, you're on. You're live. Go ahead. What are you thinking about the election?
Long time no see, right? First of all.
Yes, that's true. I see you in the chat, though. I know you're out there. I know you're active. That's okay.
You keep an eye on me. You keep a close eye on me, Rick. I know that. I'm not a fool. No. I mean, as far as things are going on here, let's talk about it. Okay, let's go from your perspective first, and then I'll talk about my perspective second.
Well, I give my perspective all the time. It's your floor. Go ahead.
No, you're not putting me in that position, right?
Well,
because you've been talking. You should give me. All right. Okay,
I'm just asking you, like, what? I don't know. What do you want to talk about? We're just here talking about the election. So just like John, go ahead. Give me your thoughts. Who do you think's out ahead? Do you think Trump's got a chance? What do you think? Is it close? Is it going to be a landslide? What are your thoughts? I don't know.
Do I have to keep it just to the election, or we can talk about the election first? As far as Trump goes, will Trump win? If it's a fair vote, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, he'll win, because there's no way anyone is voting for Kamala, and those poll numbers are wrong, because it should be a landslide. First of all, and as far as the election goes, I'm not even sure if it really matters if he wins or not, because I'm a little bit concerned about that part. Because even if he wins, there is going to be a civil war, I think, either way. Or if not a civil war, Rick, there's going to be huge protests and huge violence. I don't think it matters who wins at this point. I don't think there's going to be any peaceful transition of power. I don't think so. The left is crazy, and they're not going to let this go. The right are so determined to win that I just don't see anything peaceful anywhere in between this.
Well, I know people are pretty divided and people are very emotional, and I hear talk like that. So what you're saying isn't lost on me. I also know that when I walk around on the streets, and I mean, I'm not living in the U.S., right? But as much as I see the divisiveness online, I don't see it in my, like, it's not when I don't see that when I go to the corner store. I don't see it at the supermarket. I don't see it when I'm just out, right? I see it online, so I don't know how reflective of actual reality what we're witnessing online is. Like, you know what I mean? So, but I absolutely see that there's a lot of division, and there are certain pockets of people that are very invested emotionally in all of this. And I hope that you're wrong, because I certainly don't want to see violence. I don't want to see violence, but I do know that there's a lot of concern out there, and I understand what you're saying.
I hope I'm wrong too, Rick, but I don't think I am, because there is no way this is going to go peaceful. Because if Trump wins, then we're going to have a left, okay? And they're going to be very angry that he won. And you know, the left, I mean, I don't like to talk about the left and the right, because I'm not really a left or a right person, because I think everybody has a voice.
Yeah.
So I'm not really a left or a right guy. I mean, I agree with left terms, what people say is left. But I don't think there really is a left. I think left, right, same birth. I think we're just people. And the people that have been indoctrinated, maybe brainwashed, maybe us on the right or wrong. I mean, it's possible. Anything is possible right now. This is a crazy world we live in. It's freaking crazy. But I don't think I'm wrong when it comes to my beliefs, and most of us don't think we're wrong when it comes to our beliefs, especially when it comes to the Kamala and Biden-Harris government on how they have conducted themselves in the past 4 years. I don't think that's a question on what they have done. And I think there's a lot more to that we're going to find out throughout the years on what actually has gone on this amount of time. We're only now beginning and realizing and finding out all of the corruption in our own governments here in Canada, in the United States, and around the world. Now, this convoy opened up a lot of eyes. That was opening Pandora's box. Pandora's box has just been opened, and we don't know what is in Pandora's box yet. It's all coming. It's all coming to us. And we're learning every day together. But by shutting things out and not listening to certain things, whether we think it's propaganda, whether we think it's the truth or a lie, do we really know, Rick? Because it's really come to the point where just about everything could be a lie.
I don't really agree with that.
Well, I know you don't agree with it, but I mean, just about everything.
I think there are a lot of people. I think there are a lot of people out there who have lost touch with the reality, and they're not grounded, and they spend way too much time online, having their brains cooked with some pretty crazy stuff.
Well, their brains are cooked. My brain is not cooked. My brain is pretty awake. I do see a lot of things. My brain's not cooked, and I see how angry people are. I see how.
Are you angry?
Are
you angry? No.
No, I used to be. No, I was angry. I'm done being angry. I think I was stopped being angry about a year and a half ago. There's no point in being angry anymore.
I was pretty angry, especially when they locked us down. That made me angry.
Yeah, I'm not angry anymore. I haven't been angry for a long time. And when you're not angry, see, that's when you can see things clearly. When you're angry, you can't. That's why every time you're in there and you're getting angry, I'm getting mad at you, saying, Rick, stop being angry. Because you can't think when you're angry.
Oh, there's truth in that.
And you have to, you have to think of things logically and clearly. And you can't do that with an angry or hateful mind. I have no hate. I have no anger.
Well, that's good.
So that makes it easier to think about what we need to do.
And what is it you think we need to do?
We need to pull together. I mean, there's only one way to beat all of this. And if you allow me to say this, there's only one way. You cannot see all of the power that all of these elites or governments or everything has over us. There's only 4 different things: hate, anger, fear. And the other one I'm not thinking about right now. But you can get my point. Without any of that, they have no power over you. If you ignore the hate, the division was the other one. There's the 4th. So if you get rid of those 4, you get rid of division, you get rid of hate, you get rid of anger, you get rid of whatever the other one was that I said. They have no power over us.
Who's they? Who's they have no power over us? Who are you talking about?
Well, whoever is controlling our life. We don't know that. But
You don't know who's controlling your life.
like we call it our government, but our government is not for sure. I mean, I think even Rick, that our government is not in control of Canada. I think that our government has somebody controlling them. They have bosses too. I would have to think you would agree with that, because there is no way that Canada is run by our government and they are the top bosses. There's no way. Because if that was the case, then we wouldn't be in this damn position that we're in. It doesn't make any sense for it if that was the case.
So you're talking about shadowy figures controlling us and our government. Well, who are they? And if you
I'm
want,
talking about some very rich people, that don't only control Canada, they control a lot of countries. That's what I'm talking about.
Rich people have influence over politics. There's no question about that. I was talking to somebody earlier on the phone today about that. And this is in all countries around the world, whether it's oligarchs in Russia or rich people here in Canada who contribute to politicians and campaigns or even convoys. And they have
one country though, Rich.
Pardon me?
I don't think it's Russia. I don't think it's Ukraine. I don't think.
Of course, you don't think it's Russia because you've been swallowing a Russian pill to make you think that Vladimir Putin is your best bud.
No. I'm not defending Russia. So don't get me wrong there.
Okay.
I'm just saying that what people are saying about Russia, what people are saying about Israel, what people are saying about the United States, what people are saying about Iran. Okay, it's all the same propaganda, Rick. It's all being said the same way. And it's all being led to divide us. Because the only power they have over us is divide us, make us hate, and to control us.
I said many months ago, and I did actually a program on it. Everybody's talking about the New World Order. Everybody's worried about the New World Order. What do you think the New World Order is? I told you what the New World Order is, and people are like, they can't wrap their heads around it, because what do you think the New World Order is?
Well, there's many divisions on the New World Order, There's not just one division. I mean, first of all, there's the WHO with Bill 293. I mean, have you looked into 293, Rick? I think you should.
I already have.
How powerful that bill is? That bill is so powerful.
We've talked about it here. I did a whole program on it. I was one of the very first people actually to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful bill. That bill is so vague. And that bill.
Actually, it's not vague. It's not really vague at all. It's just all encompassing. I've read it.
Yeah, but what?
Did you read
so
it?
Vague that it includes anything they want to do with Canada. Anything.
Well, they take health potential health emergency or other emergencies, and they've injected yeah, I understand. Well, let me finish. Let me finish. And you're quite right. Then they use it to affect other policy changes or policy objectives in there, from climate change to economic things, wealth redistribution, carbon capture, all of these things under the guise of addressing another pandemic.
Everything. Complete control of Canada. Everything they've included in that bill.
Well, there's no question that you have a liberal you have a liberal government that has pretty radical agenda, and you've got people like Stephen Guilbeault, your environment minister, who's a very radical, progressive liberal, and he's in there and he's pushing these things as well. You have a very progressive left-wing government right now, and this is what you get. So that's not a conspiracy. That's politics, but it's also not enshrined in our Constitution. So these things can be easily reversed if you elect people who target those things and you put pressure on your politicians to get rid of them. It hasn't passed yet. It's up for third reading in the Senate. And I'm not sure that it's going to. I don't know if it will pass before the next election, and if it doesn't, then it goes back to reset, and it has to go through the process again. So I don't know if it will end up being law. It isn't law yet, and I have read it, and I don't agree with it. You're quite right about that.
It's dangerous, very dangerous.
Huh?
Very damn dangerous. It's the most dangerous bill that has ever been introduced in our parliament period. Forget Bill 63, because this overrides Bill 63.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, but listen, we're meandering through all these other topics, and I'm happy to talk about these things, but we are supposed to be on an election footing here. It's 4 days left before people cast their ballots. It's going to have a major impact on the entire world, especially Canada, being right next door. So I'd like to try to talk about that rather than just all these other things. And I'm happy to have you back on another time to talk more about it. Do you want
if we talk about the election, well, we know Trump. If it's a fair election, we know Trump's going to win it. So.
Well, I don't know that. You're saying that. I don't know. I think
the projection is 60-40.
It depends on the polls you're looking at. I'm seeing, polling on the other side that suggests Harris has a slight lead over Trump. I see other polls that say she's going to have a landslide. Other ones say Trump's going to have a landslide. It depends on where you're looking and which polls. I really don't know. My sense is that it is very, very close, too close to call, which is part of the problem. Yeah.
If your common sense were to ask you, would you say that Trump is going to win or Harris is going to win in a fair, common sense election?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it is that. Personally, I think it's that close. I think that people are caught up in their social media bubbles where people are being fed the kinds of videos that they like to see. They get into an echo chamber, so people's perspectives on these things become skewed, mine included. And so I try to be mindful. So if you're a Democrat, I think you probably think Harris is out in front. If you are in the MAGA camp, you think that Trump is out in front. But my sense is it's very, very, very close. The polling, as I amalgamate it all and look at it as a whole, it appears to be very close nationally. And in these swing states, it looks like Harris might actually have a lead, a very, very, very fine lead over Trump. But I just don't know.
You believe that, Rick? You really believe that?
Yeah, I believe it's very close, because I believe you have a very, I think you have high emotions both sides. I think you have very motivated voters on both sides. You have, I do. I think the country is very, very divided, and I think that people are very invested, and I think that the Democrats have an extremely powerful political machine where they know how to get voters out. They know how to get them out early, which was a big problem for Trump in the last election. The Democrats outmaneuvered him in terms of getting voters out early, and you saw that reaction at the Harris rally just now. How many of you have already voted? And that was a big cheer. Like, I don't know, that's not a scientific thing, but all the early polling in these swing states, exit polling indicates that it's more heavily Democrat. Now, that being said, Republicans, MAGA people, they tend to come out on the day of voting more than they do early voting. It's just the nature, for whatever reason, of the demographic. So I think it is very, very close, and a lot will depend on what happens on Tuesday. Trump needs to have a big day on that day to close the gap.
On Tuesday, that's common sense.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that there's no way that anybody could be voting for Kamala Harris over Trump.
Well, sure there is. There's a lot of reasons why people are going to vote for her. You're going to have millions of people voting for her because they're invested in the abortion issue, or they're invested in her promise for price controls, which I'm opposed to, but price controls on groceries. They want that, or there are other issues that some people want. And just as you have, millions of people are going to vote for Trump too. And I'm just being straight up. Like, I'm saying I don't know. If you want me to sit here and say Trump's going to have a landslide just because it makes you feel better, sorry, not going to do it, because I can only tell you that I don't know.
It's not about that.
I don't know.
It's what I've seeing in people. Like, there's nobody that I see, hardly anybody that. You know me, Rick, I'm around everywhere, and I'm in all kinds of sites, and I know thousands of people, and I don't hardly see anybody saying anything good about Kamala. Very rare in any channel that I'm on, and I talk that I'm on one channel. I'm on all kinds of channels.
I see lots of people talking about her. I watch some stuff online. I speak to people. I hear people out, when I'm in the community, and I'm here in Canada, of course, so it is what it is up here. It's going to be skewed a little bit different, a lot different maybe, but I get people on both sides talking to me about it. So I have some very pro-Trump people, and I run into people who are very progressive and are very invested in Kamala. So I'm seeing it on both sides, and I think that she's done a masterful job. The Democrats, I should say, that campaign team has done a masterful job of finessing her into, or shoehorning her into that role of candidate to replace Biden, and kind of kickstarting that campaign and getting it going with very little time.
I agree with that. They've done a great job. They've done a great job of fooling the people. I agree with that. I agree, 100%.
There's one thing I did note about her speech tonight, and I've noticed this anyways. She speaks in very general terms. It's very cliche. It sounds like she's talking about things in specific ways, but she really isn't. She's just like, I love small business. You keep doing what you're doing. You're the backbone of the American economy.
They shut every small business down.
But what does that mean? It's just like, might as well just stand up there and say, I love you, and just leave it at that, because, or I'm in favor of small business, but it's not very specific, is it?
You're right. It's not. It's very. I don't know. I mean, I can see through her, and she's full of crap. Period. She's full of crap, and I can't believe that so many people. I mean, the people that are, which I know it isn't as many as maybe even you think, are fooled into believing what she's saying is going to help America in any way, when they've already had the last 40 years to prove it without seeing what they've done in the past 4 years. So I can't believe anybody would vote for her, especially since she was only the vice president and she was under Biden, and what Biden has already done in the past 4 years.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's like, like I said, I don't know what the I don't know which issues or which issue will be the one or the ones that are the deciding factors here. It's sometimes there is like a defining issue in a campaign. This time there are many, whether it's abortion, which is what the Democrats are focusing on, or immigration, or racism, social issues. Is it the economy? I think all of these things are almost equal across the board in terms of the impact it's going to have on voters and the way that they're going to vote, what matters to the American people. A lot of these are kitchen table issues, but I'm not sure how it shakes down. If you're talking about abortion, I don't know how it shakes down. Probably that's in favor of the Democrats. I think more people probably would vote for the abortion rights than against, just because of society being more secular in the U.S. these days, and less emphasis on religion. If you're talking about the economy, I think Trump probably wins on that front. If you're talking about immigration, that plays into the whole issue of race as well, right? So I think that almost splits down the middle, where immigration and is a big issue for the MAGA folks, but on the other side, that's why they're standing there and they're shouting, "We're not going back." That's about women's rights. That's about immigration and race. That's what that whole slogan is about. That's a really loaded slogan, and it carries deep messaging that resonates with people on an emotional level. So they were very wise and strategic in picking that. It's powerful. But I don't know how it shakes down at the end of the day. I just don't know.
I agree, but at the same time, when did Trump say that he was going to stop abortion? I don't think he's actually said that in those words.
No, because he's saying that. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing about the Harris campaign, which is strategic, and she throws these accusations out or these claims that often are not true. They keep coming back to Project 2025, and Trump keeps disavowing it, saying it's not his, but it is from the Heritage Foundation, right? Which does have people there who are kind of connected to the Trump campaign, have been, all through. So it's in the Trump orbit. They keep just connecting him to it anyway, even though he keeps saying it's not mine, it's not my campaign, that's not what we're about. But they keep coming back to it. So I just, again, at the end of the day, I don't know how voters will look at this. I'll say this, like the other reason I don't know, because I don't even know what we're getting with Trump this time around. It's a whole lot. It's a lot different than it was in 2016, and he has different people around him, and a lot of them make me feel very uneasy. I don't like what I'm seeing. You've got a whole bunch of Democrats all around Trump, former Democrats, Democrats who've converted, Democrats who are just still Democrats but are there. Libertarians. You've got it's a populist movement, and you have a real mix of folks, and I have no freaking idea what would even happen if Trump is elected. I don't know what policies would be enacted. I think he would focus heavily on the economy and would go to town on that. But then we're hearing him basically say he's going to let RFK Jr. have full control over the healthcare portfolio and government regulation over different corporations and businesses. What the hell does that look like? I don't even know. And you have such diversity in political ideology and opinion circling around Trump right now that I think the administration that he would initially come into office with, his team, would be largely dysfunctional, because they're going to end up fighting with each other. They have a common enemy or a common foe right now in the Democrats.
No, that is number one. That's going to happen when he gets office. They're going to be fighting. Number one.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know, like, what the hell does that look like?
More time fighting before they implement anything, for sure. 100%. No, I agree. And we don't know what we're getting with Trump. 100%. We do know what we're getting, because Trump says some good things that everybody wants to hear, and then he says some things that a lot of people don't want to hear, that I don't want to hear. I mean, I don't want to hear a lot of things that he has to say, especially when it comes to war, and talking about war, or there's just things that he says that, like, he's going to get into office And the first thing he's going to do is hit everybody that has hit him. Mm-hmm. Everybody that has screwed him, he's going to screw them first. So I think he's going to take that power, first of all. Yeah, maybe he might implement a couple of things for the people, but then he's going right after everybody that went after him. Everybody. Which I don't blame him for doing so, because I think that a lot of these people that went after him were abuse of power. So I don't disagree with what he's doing, but all of the time he's going to spend doing that, he's going to make that one of his biggest goals. That is something that everybody should be concerned about, because where can people come in to facts? When is he going to start implementing the changes for the people when he's so busy going after the people that screwed him?
Well, I had to laugh too, honestly, when she said that she would give people who disagree with her a seat at the table. And then I'm thinking, how many people did you arrest on J6? And how many are still in prison? And I don't know. And there's a bit of a double standard being played out there when it comes to political dissent. When you're looking at certain political groups, they get to burn buildings down with no repercussions, and yet then she's like, I would give people who disagree with me a seat at the table, but like I don't. That's not really what I'm seeing, but maybe.
Yeah, I think everybody is so Trump that they're not even looking at what he has to say and what he has been saying. And if you just listen to the things that he has been saying, then maybe you might want to be concerned about some of those things he's been saying. I mean, I'm not against Trump, believe me. If I was in America, I'd be voting Trump, because that is the best option. But is it the greatest option in the world? Does he deserve all of this spotlight? No, he doesn't, because there's questions in there that people should be asking, that are not asking. And there's things that he's saying that people should be questioning and not questioning.
Well, I think the Democrats are pretty dysfunctional as well. They have conflicting political ideologies, and
I really want to go with that.
They have people with different views and different objectives, different political ideologies right within the Democrat Party as well. It makes them dysfunctional. But that being said, I think it's a pretty safe bet that if America gets Kamala Harris, you're going to get very much the same flavor of politics and policies that we've had under Biden, and previous to that, even Obama. So
that'll be worse. That'll be worse.
It could be.
Sure.
She's.
There'll be everything that Biden had, plus more. I mean, there'll be a lot more for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not comfortable either anymore with what I'm seeing with Trump. I don't like it. I don't like the vibe. I don't like the feel. I don't like the darkness. I don't like the negativity. I don't like the when he ran in 2016 and won, there was a real air of positivity around it, patriotism. It felt very pro-America to me. I got a vibe of like a return to sort of a Reagan kind of politics. I listened a lot to Rush Limbaugh back then, and there was that very pro-American, positive, flag-waving thing going on, And so there was that whole vibe to it. For me, that's what I was getting out of it. And he had momentum, and it felt fresh, and it, but now it is different. It was different the last time when he lost, and then it's very different this time. This is a totally different animal, even though he has brought back to his campaign team a couple of the people who were there in the very beginning. But overall, like you see the people up on stage with him, from Gabbard to RFK Jr. and then I look at all the people behind him, behind RFK.
Transplant guy, that wants to, make our brain into, remote keyboard.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to jack us all into the Matrix, right? And people seem to think Elon's going to save us all or something, but you don't. You're not a multi-billionaire getting involved in a presidential campaign unless you want something in return. So what does Elon really want out of this? His whole empire is really built. They say it's on the backs of taxpayers. It's government contracts. That's largely how he built his fortune.
Look at what Elon named X. Look at he named Twitter X. X marks the spot. X is the end of the world. If you research X and know anything about X, X is a meaning. There is a meaning behind that. X is actually a WF plan. X. That is the WF plan. X. And he is bringing Elon Musk into the cabinet.
I don't know. He's talking about dark MAGA, and I'm like, dark MAGA? That sounds pretty sinister and ominous. Like, holy crap, what the hell is that? He's dark MAGA, and he's now in, I don't know, like the whole thing. It just feels freaking weird. And I'm not comfortable with it. That's not like a bright, shining city on a hill. That's dark MAGA. What the hell? So I'm worried about that. No thanks. Show me some sunshine, please, because we need a little positivity here. That's not what we're getting, man. So I think we're kind of on the same page there. I'm worried.
Oh yeah, worried. Yeah, we all should be worried, because even if Trump gets in, I think we all still need to worry. Even if PP gets in, there's a lot of things with PP that we need to worry about.
I think, but you know what, RV, I think that people need to just open the other eye and wake up a little bit more, and really pay attention to what's going on with these foreign countries, these other countries that are
100%.
Right? And because what did we see during, people like, oh, the BRICS is a great thing. That's going to save the world. What the hell are you talking about? What did Putin say? What words?
BRICS will destroy the American dollar, will destroy the Canadian dollar, and that's right. A great thing? I don't think so.
That's what they want to do. They want to destroy the Western economy. And then he sits there, and this is what I said months ago. I said, it's those BRICS nations. Those countries, that's your new world order. And Putin came right out and said 100%. That during the BRICS summit. He said, 100%. This is the beginning of the new world order. No kidding.
100%, Brett. You get it.
So, yeah, no thanks. I'm not interested in that either. I'm kind of homeless, actually, is what it comes down to, RV. I'm not there. I'm not there.
We're all going to be homeless, period.
That's the problem.
We're all homeless.
That's but I mean, politically, I'm pretty much homeless. So I'm just sitting here, and people hammer on me because they don't understand.
Physically, if all of this happens.
You're right. We will, because if those BRICS nations are successful, we will literally own nothing. We will have nothing, right? if they get what they want. Yeah. So, yeah, you want to join the BRICS? You're not going to be able to, folks, because you're not going to have anything to join the BRICS with. We won't have anything. They want to destroy our economy. That's what it comes down to. Wake the hell up. Okay? So
exactly, Rick. Exactly. You are getting it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you do it on your channel, but in this conversation with you definitely get it.
Oh, I'm getting it, man. I'm getting it. Oh, yeah.
And this is not a Canada fight. This is not a USA fight. This is a world fight. I mean, because this is happening everywhere.
Oh, yeah. And, it's not...
You can't go from here and go somewhere else and get away from this. You can't just leave Canada and say, I'm going to leave Canada because Canada's going to hell. Because guess what? Yeah. It's going to be this thing no matter where you go. Maybe not now, but it will be.
Mm-hmm. And these people who think that the BRICS nations are doing something different, no, they're not. That it's like not capitalist. Yes, it is. It's exactly what it is. If all you have to do is read what their objectives were, what they actually read their statement after their summit. Just go read it. Like it's the same.
The American dollar, the American power. They're just becoming the new American power. They can control us instead of the USA.
Right. They want to control everything. That's the new world order. They're going to be in control. They want Russia, Brazil, India, China, South Africa, and the other affiliated nations and the global South, which is like the poor and developing countries, to dominate instead of us. And they're going to use our are dead against us.
And they're going to be the West. It's going to switch.
That's right. They want to flip it.
The East and the West is going to switch.
Right,
That's
and
all.
they're hoping they can use debt and leverage that, and
they will.
Yeah, they'll try. It's not going to be that easy, and I hope they're not successful because the reality is there's no need for it. We could actually all be living in prosperity together, but some of these dictators are determined to take over the frickin' world, and that's really what it is. And we're resisting that because we don't want to be dominated, but. We can talk about that more on another night too. I've got other calls coming in here, sir, so I should probably give somebody else a chance to talk, but you are always welcome to call back.
All right, will do. All right, take care, Rick.
You too, sir. You take care, Harvey. Bye.
All right, bye.
Okay, and there was a call coming in there. I don't know if we have somebody. Do we have a caller on the line right now?
Rick, it's Rimby John hanging on hold for you.
There you are. You're back. Okay, there was another call too, but that's okay. I think we lost the other call. They'll probably call back, and then I can dip out of this call. So
a final thought, Rick. Love to our brothers and sisters in the United States, stateside. Yeah. I'm praying for a peaceful election, Rick, USA. And I hope there's a clear win, Rick. I pray for that before anybody calls the election.
Yeah, I hope it's a clear win one way or the other too, because if it's too close and then we get into this whole the election was stolen thing again, it's going to be really bad for the country. It's going to be bad for the world.
Well, I really hope nobody comes out early, Trump or Harris, and calls it without a clear 275, 280 electoral college votes, eh?
Well, I just hope it's a clear-cut win one way or the other. And I don't know what's better. There are a lot of things that have gone on under Biden, that I really don't agree with. But at the same time, I'm very worried about all the stuff I'm seeing, swirling around Trump too. And it's not even Trump himself. It's just all these other players that have come into his orbit, and he's making deals to try to leverage their influence and bring, like RFK Jr. I was in the early stages. I was watching very carefully, looking at what he's doing. Lori was here at the time, right? And she was, I'm all for RFK Jr. And she's, basically, she had the RFK Jr. flag behind her. And I was like, I'm not endorsing anybody. I'm not endorsing him or Trump or anybody. And as I watched, though, I'm quite happy to criticize and a lot less inclined to endorse any candidate. So I'm not endorsing any candidate. With RFK Jr., over time, I began to realize that this is not the guy. There's serious issues with him. If you really look at him, there's serious problems around that guy. And the people around him, the campaign, totally dysfunctional, couldn't run an effective campaign, crazy people around him, just nuts. Just a really weird, strange, dysfunctional whole operation. But he was riding the wave, that came with his name. It's his name, the Kennedy name. People are just bedazzled by it. He could stand up there and talk about anything, and people would just be starstruck with the name. And the truth is, if he didn't have that name, he would not even, no one would give him a second look.
Just like our fearless leader, dictator, Justin Trudeau. I mean, look, Kennedy, 99% of his family have denounced him. And look, Rick, we got 3 days to go. Maverick News family, our love to our brothers and sisters statewide, U.S. side. 3 days to go. And look, there's car accidents and wrecks happening in the Harris camp and Trump. Trump isn't the only camp. There's lots of not good decisions being made, on the Harris side either, especially that Tim Walz. I don't get a good feeling from him, Rick.
Yeah, there's something about him too that I'm like, why did you pick that guy? You know, I have to say, like, she's a much better speaker than I thought she was going to be. She's actually a pretty powerful speaker. And even though that she's been accused of just reading the prompter and repeating her speech over and over again, they all do that. Trump does it too. He repeats the same stuff at every rally. They all do it because it's marketing. That's effective commercials. You know, just.
But you know, Rick, this Tim Walz, I mean, my relatives in Minnesota on my Sturgill Crummy side, and there you get outside of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, they're all diehard Republicans in Minnesota. They're all Trump people, but there's allegedly Tim Walz is allegedly not been very nice to former girlfriends. I mean, there's reports out there. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. You know, there's car wrecks on both sides going on, but whether it's Trump or Harris.
I mean, the truth is, I'd never heard of really Tim Walz before they picked him as your running mate. So how much do I really know about the guy? Not much, just what we've learned in the short time he has been running. You know, they're trying to put him out there as some sort of ordinary, run-of-the-mill, average, middle-class guy. But I get...
Rick, he is an average guy. An ex-school teacher, Marine. Tampon Tim. Come on. Tampon Tim. Let's put some more ladies' high personal hygiene products in men's and boys' bathrooms. Tampon Tim.
I don't know. He just... I just get the feeling that if he was... Like, if he was the VP, and then something happened to Kamala Harris, like, and she, I don't know, had a heart attack and died or got hit by a bus or something. God forbid. Okay, don't wish that on anybody. Then he's the president, and then there's like he's left with the task of, do I push the red button or not? Right? Because there's a crisis, and he has to decide, am I going to push the red button? And I just feel like he would just fold up and crawl under the desk or something, like and cry.
I don't think he's a fighter. Harris isn't a fighter either.
No, I don't agree with that. I think she is a fighter. I think she is. And you know, this is the thing about her. This is actually one of the things people are saying, like, she's basically, let's just call it the way it's been portrayed. They basically said that she slept her way to the top, right? Those kinds of allegations. Allegedly, right? And I'm like, okay, but you know what? If she did, more power to her, because it's like now she knows, look at the sacrifices she's had to make, if that's true, and the crap she would have had to put up with, and all the smiling she would have had to do, dealing with people that she really didn't like at all, and all that. And so it's like she could probably relate to a lot of middle-class problems for people who have had real trouble struggling through life. So I get that, and I'm like, that doesn't hurt, nope, that's not a disqualifier for me, man. If that's what she had to do to get there, and she's there and doing what she, okay, she's had a rough time, and so be it. A lot of people have had a rough time in life. You know, I don't
know, Rick. You know, there's an old Ricky Gervais line. I'll be real nice about it. And Trump has said it. I mean, I'd rather be grabbed by the PUSSY rather than have one in the White House. I've had women come up and say that to me in Alberta.
And let me state clearly, I don't know that Kamala Harris did do any of that stuff. I don't know. I know that some of those posts on social media were completely fabricated. And initially, you know, they kind of fooled me, but I didn't run any of that stuff. And then it turned out to be fake. So, like, the actual images. So I showed some of that on the program the other night. But anyway, back to you, John. Back to you.
But you know, Rick, just a final thought real quick to get to your other callers. Look, we are so fortunate in North America. We live in two of the greatest sovereign, free, democratic nations in the world.
Yes, we do.
May God bless the good Lord. May God bless the United States of America. In God we trust. And Canada as well. These are two incredible free nations around the world. Family Christian values, welcoming people, whether you're in the United States or Canada. We welcome people with open arms from around the world, we should be so proud about that. And in God we trust. Lift up the United States of America and Canada. We're so fortunate, Rick.
Yeah, I agree, John, and we cannot let people tear it down. We can't let people destroy it. It's our obligation to protect it. We need to save it. But when I say save it, I mean really save it. Not replace it, not pretend like we're saving it when people want to destroy it. No. We want to keep it. I got another call coming in. We got to hang up, John, or we're going to lose the call.
Pray for our veterans, November the 11th.
You betcha. Thank you, sir. Go ahead. You're on the air. Oh, we lost the call. Look at that. All right, let's take a little break. You can call in and join the conversation at 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Don't go away. I shall return right after this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay.
All right, who do we have on the line with us?
You have Paul from Ontario.
Well, hello, Paul. How are you doing?
Not too bad yourself.
Excellent. So, what are you thinking?
I'm actually calling. I wonder if people have considered the possibility of maybe China doing something during this election term.
What do you mean?
Considering they are having, their own issues there, and they do absolutely want Taiwan. So the possibility of them doing that, if Trump wins, there's going to be the transfer of power then. That will take time. What do you think about that?
So if I'm following you, you're wondering if China is going to initiate military action in Taiwan during the transition period?
Yeah. I considered it. I don't know how much theory there is behind it, but...
I don't think it's a wise or it would even be an effective strategy if they're expecting that it's going to be... Unless there's like real turmoil and the U.S. is thrown into some sort of a conflict internally, like through it like a civil war, then yeah, you're gonna see these other countries move.
That's the thing I'm
sure.
thinking of, because there's so many proxy wars happening all over the planet right now, and it would make sense logically for them to do that now rather than later. But,
Well, and actually, what you're saying just reinforces what I've been saying here for probably the last year, which is that, and even longer, the United States provides global stability. As much as they're accused of, doing nasty things in other countries, and so that's no. We provide stability. We have since World War II. You take the United States out of the mix, and you're going to see global instability like we have never seen before. And what you're talking about is, yeah. So that's why, don't take my word for it, just go listen to Vladimir Putin. He talked about this even during the BRICS as well. He actually talked about, undermining U.S. support for what's going on in Ukraine so that they can basically win.
We meet up and everything just recently, so we should take them at their word.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Putin is counting on the U.S. pulling support so that he can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's how he wins, and that's what the information war is all about over here. Undermine support. Undermine support.
Both sides.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So,
well,
thank
you very much, Brett.
Yeah, I'm not happy about the war. I wish it wasn't happening. I don't think it had to happen. I think if we'd had better foreign policy, it probably wouldn't have happened. But it's happened, and Putin wanted it to happen. And Putin.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And more than that, he used this whole argument that he was afraid of NATO and afraid of the West trying to accusing the U.S. of wanting regime change in Russia. And all he has actually done is, well, not all he has done, but one of the things he has done is he's actually ensured now that, he's actually had somebody invade to go inside Russian territory. Now he's got Ukraine inside his territory. If he hadn't gone into Ukraine, that never would have happened. So.
And then they blame both sides for being Nazis and everything else like that. I mean.
Yeah.
And they are on both sides.
There are.
It doesn't. Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've seen that with what was that one guy there? Vladimir Ukin. He had the SS tattoos all over him and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, and both sides had some nationalists, and they're all right.
Yeah. And nationalism is not necessarily Nazism, and this is much more complex and nuanced than
it is. That's a really complicated part, and most people don't understand it unless they've actually been there or know people who've been there.
Yes. Yeah, and they keep, putting Stepan Bandera out there as, basically their boogeyman. And even if you look at that, it's not that cut and dried. And I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, most people don't really like that one either.
Yeah. But I've dug into all of this stuff in much more detail over the last couple of years, and I am embarrassed to say that I was led around and led astray by some people that I thought were real experts and people that I thought we could trust. And it turns out, no, not at all.
Yeah, I remember your videos are a little bit more on that side before.
Oh, yeah.
And I try not to take sides either. I do my research on especially that war and Israel as much as I can. Mm-hmm. And it's hard.
It is. Yeah, because it's very, very complex because there's so much history. There's history every day, and
oh yeah,
you can make arguments, based on
where history right now.
yeah, where do you want at what point in time do you want to enter the argument? So then who started it, right? Those kinds of things, and it's just not simple. Not really, but I'm glad you called. Any other thoughts to close off?
Much, Rick. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for calling. I appreciate it. You too. Take care. Okay, and 1-519-401-1373. That's how you can call and join the conversation. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-519-401-1373. 1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. Okay, and Johnny is on the line, and everybody's been missing you. I even saw people in their game tonight, John, who are like, "Where's John? Where's John? Where's John?" Well, here's Johnny.
I've been listening. You guys were talking about Harris.
Yeah.
And a lot of things you don't know about her. Okay, she's a lot of people don't like her. She's a bitch, if you want me to say it that way. She's very, her way is the highway, you know, she's gotta be, that's not a good thing.
Well, is that like somebody's opinion, or is that like a hard fact?
A lot of people don't like working with her because she's a B, you know?
I don't know.
She is.
People can make those accusations. I don't know if it's true.
It's true. And also,
how do you know?
I got the insides. I follow this stuff.
But how do you know, John? Like, how do you know that the people are saying that?
A lot of people don't like working with her.
Right.
That's what I've been reading.
No, maybe no.
They don't like working with her. She's very.
A lot of people don't like me too.
But another thing you don't know about her.
Yeah. What else?
She's a Hindu.
She's a Hindu?
Yeah. And if you know anything about Hindus, they are the elites. If you're a Hindu, you are an elite. You're the top of the food chain. The people below you will never become an elite. You'll never get anywhere in life. You're treated like dirt. The Hindus, that's their religion. They are the rulers. They hold all the power. They call the shots, and the people below them, you're never going to get anywhere in life. It's like you're stuck.
So they
mopping the floors the rest of your life.
So the Hindus are controlling the world? Is that what you're saying?
In their country. Look at. Hey, listen. You can fact check all this stuff.
I think she's got a bit of a background as being connected to being a Baptist too. So she's like a Baptist Hindu.
I don't know. She went to Montreal.
Yeah.
One of the university. It's one of the high Hindu universities in the world, in Montreal. She went there. That should open your eyes.
What university did she go to in Montreal?
The one she went to.
Which one?
I don't know. I don't know the
I
name.
thought she went to high school in Montreal.
Ask your friend from Montreal there. He knows all the universities there.
She went to high school in Montreal.
Oh, it's a Hindu school that she went to.
I don't think so.
Okay, well you can
because Dragon went over there and talked to the people, and he didn't indicate that it was like a Hindu school.
Find out how many Hindus go to that school.
I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know. Does it matter? I don't know.
Vance's wife, she's a Hindu.
Oh.
Do you see how the cards are lining up? She's a Hindu.
So now you're saying the Hindus are in control.
They hold the power and they rule, and people below them will never get ahead in life. The people, they don't care about someone like you and me. They don't care about you. All they're concerned about. Anyways, that's something you guys can look into. I don't want to.
Yeah, John. I'm just reviewing what Dragon was doing. She went to Westmount High School when she was like between the ages of 12 and 17.
Yeah.
And then she spent a year at Vanier College in Montreal.
But it's a Hindu. Most of the Hindus go there. It's a school for a lot of the Hindus go there.
I don't know what the demographic makeup would be there, but
you can look into it. And,
I'm looking right now. I'm just checking to see, just to see what if any of that's true.
You guys, you should learn about the Hindu religion. I'm telling you, these people that they rule the country, and then people below them, they get treated like they never get anywhere in life. They're just peasants. So you'll be a peasant all your life. Don't worry about it. Don't trust the words she says. But
to me, I don't really care if she's a Hindu.
I don't care either. But
well, apparently you do. I guess you do.
Her parents
you're talking about it.
Her parents are Hindus, and that's why they're so high in life. That's why they have these big jobs and they're very well respected because they're Hindus. Yeah. Anyways, look at that. Another thing is Pakistan. This is not the president, I don't know, prime minister, whatever. United States, they wanted to put military bases in there. She said no. What did the states do? Huh? They overturned the government. That just happened recently. They overturned the government. They kicked her out, man. Now, you can fact check this. This is BRICS. BRICS. How many countries has the United States sanctioned? Huh? How many countries?
John, we're talking. Okay. We're supposed to be talking about the election.
Well, you were talking about BRICS earlier too.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you're saying BRICS is such a bad thing. Well, I don't really agree with BRICS. I don't. But when you got bullies like the states putting sanctions on all these small little countries, they can't bully Russia. They can't bully China. They're too big. They can't bully India. They're too big. But these little countries, they go in and sanction them all.
Which ones?
Steal their wealth.
Steal their wealth.
Off them.
Nothing. You, John.
Okay, like Pakistan. Either you do what we tell you, or we overturn the government.
That's not true.
And that's why BRICS came out. And this is right from Putin's mouth.
Right from Putin's mouth, he's telling you that
that's why BRICS came out.
Putin has just told you that they are the new world order.
It's like Africa.
They're all coming out.
Huh?
They're all coming out saying that BRICS is the new world order.
The new world order too.
No.
They got their own agenda. It started from the Bush days. They want a one world government. They've been talking about it for one world government.
You are.
What is it? One world government. What is that? What is that? What's a one world government, Rick? Huh?
That's where Vladimir Putin gets to be the dictator.
Yeah.
That's what he's.
The Americans
don't take my word for it, man. It's his words, not mine.
And the Americans don't want to be a dictator. They've been dictating since World War II.
No.
They've been sanctioning all this. If you don't.
Sanctions are an alternative to military force, and they've used sanctions.
You're right.
Yeah.
If you do what I say, or we overturn the government.
No, it's if you are doing things to destabilize or engaging in human rights violations or war crimes or butchering people or doing things that are atrocities, then the United States provides stability, and they will sanction you. Or if they think that you're doing things that are in violation of international law, for various, all kinds of different issues, and you're just making broad, sweeping statements without being specific about much of anything. Again, so no.
I'm gonna go. people are getting mad at me, talking. They don't want to hear my voice. And some
No, people love you here, man. And I do too, and we miss you, John.
Okay.
We do, we miss you.
Hey, I know where I'm not wanted.
You're wanted. We want you here. We're just.
I'm just
you
trying
want.
to educate you with the Hindu religion, and I'm trying to educate you with the sanctions. That's why BRICS started, is because small countries are getting sick, and you don't want to be sanctioned next. All these countries don't want to be sanctioned. If you do as I say, or we're going to sanction you, we're going to overturn your government. It's a bully tactic.
No, it's economic warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Putin could have joined the European Union. Putin could be part of the global economy. Oh, they offered it to him. Oh, yeah, they did. They gave him the opportunity, but he came in with a set of demands that were above and beyond what any other country would have been afforded, and so he made it so that no, he didn't really want to. He wants to rule, and he's very nationalistic that way, and that's fine. They can take that approach if they want to, and take a nationalistic approach rather than a multinational approach.
It'd be nice if you had Putin on the show.
Yeah, he's welcome. I'll talk to Vladimir Putin, and I'll ask him. And unlike Mr. Carlson, I will actually ask him some real questions, rather than just let him sit there and talk for an hour, and give us his revisionist history lesson.
Putin is not the nicest guy, but
no, he's not.
But he does care about his country, and he wants to.
Well, he cares about his power, and he certainly takes care of his oligarchs.
He cares about his power. They all do. Everybody in there. It's what it's all about. Lies, lie to get elected. You know, just lie. Everybody's lying to get elected.
He's not your friend, and he's not our friend.
Your friend?
Well,
yeah.
As much as people, want to.
I'm talking about.
Well, if we are in the middle of an election, and people do have a voice, and unfortunately, it's a very volatile time, and people are very confused, and we're going through, an era of change and real transition because of technology, because of information warfare, where people are being subjected to all kinds of information that is pulling and skewing and pushing and pulling on their brains. It's difficult for people to know what is even real right now because of all the technology, the artificial intelligence, the information warfare campaigns, even the conspiracy theories, all of it. It's just like, where the hell are we at? And you don't know who your friend is, and their accusations, and then you call up and, like, even just what you said right now, Kamala Harris is a BITCH, and Kamala Harris is a Hindu, and I'm sure, I know that she has a Hindu background. I don't know that it matters, but
there you go.
It doesn't matter to me. But
find out about Hindus. They're the top of the food chain. If you're a Hindu, royalty, man. Anyways, there's a lot.
I thought, John, last time you called, I thought you said that the Jews controlled everything.
They do.
Well, which is it, the Hindus or the Jews?
Well, I'm talking about all the banking's controlled by the Jews. All like top doctors.
Well, then you sent me, a link. And you were laughing about it because you said that Israel had its credit rating downgraded. So if they control the banks, why is their credit rating being downgraded in Israel?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe it's got something to do with what's going on over there, right?
Yeah, and maybe it's because they don't.
A lot of children disappearing. And,
maybe it's because they don't control the banking industry the way that you say they do. Or that other people think.
Look at all the top bankers. What are they?
Well, then why is Israel's credit rating downgraded? Why wouldn't they do something to just keep their credit rating propped up so that they don't have to pay as high an interest rate?
I don't know, but
because what you're saying doesn't hold water. That's why.
Well,
And now you're contradicting yourself again. It's like, well, the Hindus control everything. They're royalty. They're in charge. No, the Jews are in charge. Well, which is it, man?
I don't know about the credit rating. I don't know how that works.
I do. I know exactly how it works, and it works because the Jews don't control everything.
Maybe not. They don't control everything, but they control most of the stuff.
No.
They control the Congress in Washington.
What do you mean they control? The Jews control Congress.
It's all controlled by the Jews.
No,
the Congress in Washington. Look at all the half those leaders in there. They're all Jewish.
People send me stuff like that, and then I start going down the list and think, this guy's a Jew, that guy's a Jew, that guy's a Jew, and then I start going down, and then I check. And you know what? A lot of the people that say are Jewish aren't even Jewish. I go down the lists.
Oh, that's what I'm hearing.
Well, that's because you hear a lot of things that just simply aren't true. And a lot of these tropes are just being recycled in order to get people angry and upset. And it's just not true.
All right, well, you can...
Some of it's true, but that's why it's hard to know what's true and what isn't. It's because they take a kernel of truth and then they wrap lies around it and exaggerations and distortions, and they revise history, which is what people were upset about at one time, not very long ago, when they were tearing our statues down, and everybody's like, look at what they're doing to our history. They're erasing our history. I'm upset about that. And then now what do I see? When they're tearing the statues down, I see people sitting there cheering instead, because people's minds have been flipped upside down and inside out. It's bizarre to me. And people are worried about the foreign influence in Canada, and we want to name the names of the MPs who have been identified by our security agencies. But then when they come out and they say that, and they identify players in the information war that have been apparently compromised by Russia, people are like, oh, that's just a hoax. And then those people get a pass. It defies logic, man. It's like, it's selective. People just being selective in the information and the stories that they want to believe. It's just a selective belief system. That doesn't work. You have to try to be more objective. I'm sorry, but it's just like even the whole thing about Ukraine and the Nazis, right? Like, yeah, I know I've been critical of Nazis in Ukraine because there are some, and we need to call that out. But Russia, and I showed you the proof of that the last time you were on the show too. Russia has more Nazis serving with them than Ukraine certainly does. And the whole Stepan Bandera story, it's not really what Putin and the Russian...
Do they have a statue? Do they have a holiday that celebrates a Nazi? Does Russia have a holiday that celebrates Nazis? Does Russia have a statue of a Nazi?
No, they've got Stalin. They've got Stalin. They don't need a Nazi because they've got the communists. So it's the fascists, the Nazis versus the communists. Stalin was a butcher. Stalin was a monster, and they celebrate him, like they adore him, and they still idolize him, and the atrocities that guy committed. He just kills his political enemies. He committed atrocities against the people of Ukraine. Why the hell do you think they don't want to live under Russian rule? Because they still have the horrific memories alive inside Ukraine.
Rules.
What's that?
They don't have to live under Russian rules.
Not as long as they push Russia out of their borders.
They almost had a deal signed, and then I don't know.
Yeah, that's the Russian narrative, and it's a little more complicated and nuanced than that too. They didn't just put the kibosh on it.
Russia, there's a lot of hate with Russia. People, they want to see Russia gone.
Yeah,
well, you know, that's what this is all about.
There's a lot of hate from Russia directed at Ukraine, and a lot of misinformation and a lot of crap that's just simply not really true.
They're using Ukraine they're using Ukraine to get to Russia. Because I don't know, they're afraid.
Ukraine was not about to invade Russia. That's insane.
They were going to bring in NATO.
That's how this whole thing
Yeah,
started.
because they gave up their nukes and they had Russia sitting on their doorstep, and Russia went in and took Crimea. Crimea, which has been part of Ukraine, Russia went in 2014 and took it by force, and they ginned up a civil war and armed the rebels in areas that are more Russian speaking. And ginned all that up because Vladimir Putin threw a temper tantrum during the Maidan Square protests later. And they took Crimea by force. So don't tell me that the United States is wanted to invade Russia. On the contrary, it was Russia that took Crimea away from Ukraine. But somehow people think that Ukraine is invading Crimea. No, that is Ukraine.
Well, it would have never been invaded if Ukraine said no to NATO. It would have never been invaded. That's how everything started. How would you feel if your neighbor put a camera facing your backyard, all your windows, aiming at 24/7?
No, there was.
Would you like that?
Do you know what, John? After the fall of the Soviet Union, and you had the liberation of all the Soviet bloc countries, including Ukraine, there was the Budapest Memorandum. And through the Budapest Memorandum, Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons. And in exchange, Russia and the United States.
Nuclear weapons, by the way.
What? Pardon me?
Russia put them there because Russia put them there.
Yeah.
And they wanted them back.
Yeah, no, but they after the fall of this, yeah, that's right. But they were inside Ukrainian territory.
Want to put theirs in there. See?
No, they don't.
But that's okay with you.
No, they don't need to put they don't need to put nuclear weapons. There's been no talk of putting nuclear weapons in there. On the contrary, Well, let me finish. Let me finish.
And tomorrow's Saturday.
Yeah.
Come on, Rick.
No.
You believe everything? These politicians lie through their teeth.
Nobody has ever said anything about putting nuclear weapons back on Ukrainian soil.
Just get them into NATO first. Then. As soon as they're into NATO, that's what they're going to do.
They don't need to, John. They don't need to.
Yeah, all right. They don't need to. Okay.
They don't need to put nukes on there. But you didn't even. Hang on.
I'm not taking a chance.
Let me finish my point, and then I'll let you talk. Because of the Budapest Memorandum, after the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia and the United States agreed to respect Ukraine's borders if they gave up the nuclear weapons. So Ukraine did that. Now,
they were Russia's nuclear weapons, by the way.
No. They were inside Ukrainian territory, and they could have storing them. There were launch facilities there, and they had every right to keep them. They had every right to keep them, and they could have. And Vladimir Zelensky addressed this about a week and a half ago, actually, in a speech, and he said, and this was actually twisted and taken completely out of context by pro-Russian influencers, but he said Ukraine chooses NATO so that they don't have to choose nuclear weapons. That's bullshit. What it was. That's what he said.
Just bullshit. You believe that?
That's what he said, and that makes absolute sense.
Okay.
Because Russia did not respect. They violated the Budapest Memorandum, and they went into Ukraine anyway. And why did they
go into Ukraine?
Because he wanted Crimea.
No, because they were going to join NATO.
No.
Okay. All right then. All right, Rick.
No, because
rewind the film back to that date.
Yeah.
A year or two, whatever it started.
Because 2014, he took over Crimea, and people not paying any attention, and that was just kind of simmering at that point, and because he ginned up with information warfare, he fueled division within the country. He drove a wedge in between the Russian-speaking population and the Ukrainian-speaking population. And those Russian-speaking citizens of Ukraine are really ended up there because of the Stalin era, largely because they moved those people in there during the Stalin era when Stalin also went into Ukraine to take over that country because of the wealth that it provides. 40% of all the economic wealth that came from the Soviet bloc countries came from Ukraine when the Soviet Union was still together. Ukraine provided that wealth. They also have strategic locations in the Black Sea so that the Black Sea fleet, the Russian fleet, has access to the Atlantic Ocean so that they can get out that way, and also down through the Suez Canal for trade routes for their shipping and their military reasons. So strategic militarily, strategic economically for where it's located, plus it's got the richest farmland probably anywhere in the world right there. It's the breadbasket of that whole part of the world. And that's why Putin wants it. That's what Stalin used Ukraine for, was he confiscated all of the grain in order to capitalize his industrial revolution. He needed Ukraine because he didn't have the money, the capital, to take Russia and the Soviet Union into the industrial era. He needed capital to do it. So he just went in and confiscated, through extreme taxation and laws, all of the fruits of the labor of the Ukrainian farmers. And the kulaks.
Do yourself a favor, do some history on this.
What do you think I'm sharing with you right now?
Okay, Donbass, and you've all along there, Donbass,
Yeah.
I mean, they've been at war for how long?
Yeah, that's the civil war that I was talking about, and Russia is largely responsible for that.
How long has that been happening, since you know it all?
It's been going on for quite a while, but it was really got ginned up around 2014.
Decades, right?
Oh, not the Civil War. No.
Those people had an election, and they want to be with Russia. So
After Russia invaded and went into Crimea, and after Russia sent Russian soldiers into the Donbass area without wearing Russian insignia. They were referred to as little green men.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Putin denied that he had troops in there when he did all along. He admitted it later, and then after just recently, the rebels, the involved in the Civil War that he armed, plus the soldiers that went in to fight, the Russian soldiers that went in there, they've all been now given Russian veteran status and pensions. Because it was all Russian to begin with, when he denied that he was ever in there, and it was just a lie.
That's true, but
it was all a lie.
You're saying.
Meanwhile, while he's doing that, he's saying that it's a U.S. coup.
They've been trying to kick him out of there for decades.
No, they've been trying. No, John, no.
Along Donbass.
No, they've been trying to kick them out for decades. No.
All the Russians out for decades.
They wanted that. They still want that to be part of Ukraine. They don't want them out. No. They didn't ever ask the Russian-speaking population to leave. I have looked into it in depth.
Yeah.
That's why I know what I know.
I know.
And that's why a lot of my views on this have evolved over the last 2.5 years, because, as I said, I'm embarrassed to say that I was listening to certain professors in the U.S. who really have ended up just being Russian mouthpieces, and other military pundits who have been getting it wrong from the very beginning consistently, who have zero credibility left. Zero. Less than zero.
There's a lot of history that you're missing, and this is the point. You just
Enlighten me, sir. Like, what history am I missing?
About 200 years. That's what.
No, again, it comes down to at what point do you want to enter this discussion? So, Vladimir Putin can sit there and say, if you go back 200 years, it proves that Ukraine really belongs to Russia, and so we have every right to just be there and have it. It's ours. No, that's
American labs,
BS.
all those American labs that
All you have, John, all you have to do is look at what happened after the fall of the Soviet Union. The Ukraine was given its sovereignty, and willingly, by Russia, and that included Crimea. They gave it to Ukraine. They gave them their sovereignty because Russia couldn't sustain it anymore anyway. So all those Soviet bloc countries were given their autonomy.
Ukraine's been a lot money laundering country for the states for decades.
Oh yeah, that is a problem. That's very true, and that's because largely it's been under Russian influence. And there's only one. You know what?
It's all Russia's fault. Everything's Russia's fault. You got so much hate towards Russia.
I don't hate Russia at all.
Yeah,
No, I don't.
Sounds like it.
No, I'm just giving you some facts.
Looking at both sides.
Look at the index. If you look at the index of how they list corrupt countries, you have Ukraine, and you know what country is more corrupt than Ukraine on the list?
United States.
No, you're Russia.
Yeah.
Russia is more corrupt.
United States is the most corrupt country in the world.
And in order for Ukraine, one of the main conditions for Ukraine to join the European Union, which is what got Vladimir Putin upset, was that Zelensky and the Ukrainian government it wasn't Zelensky at the time because he became president after.
So much ammo to Ukraine. It's so much ammo.
No. Let me. You can say your piece in a moment. Let me finish. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point, and you can let you talk. Let me finish. Ukraine, they wouldn't let Ukraine join the European Union unless they agreed to address issues of corruption. And so Ukraine agreed to do that. Vladimir Putin didn't want them to join the EU. But who is the businessman, and this is directly related to my point here. People keep talking about the billionaire oligarch who created Vladimir Zelensky. His name escapes me at the moment, but the guy who put him on TV and helped him with his career and so on. In any event, that guy, that oligarch, it was only about, here's something that actually impressed me a lot and really surprised me because I was extremely critical of Zelensky. But he did something about a month ago that just floored me. Absolutely took me by surprise. He implemented new legislation and a new program to continue to combat internal Ukrainian corruption. And that's because of the conditions that the European Union is imposing. No, hang on a second here.
Read the chats there, Rick.
I don't care what they're saying. Now let me tell you something. Let me tell you what happened to the oligarch.
And you support that.
No, let me tell you. Let me finish and stop interrupting, and then I'll let you talk.
Yeah.
So the oligarch that was propping up Zelensky is now up on charges, and they're dragging him through. He's in a lot of trouble, and Zelensky facilitated that. The very guy that people say created him and propped him up, Zelensky has, because of his policies, that guy's in a lot of trouble in Ukraine.
And who put Zelensky in power in Ukraine?
They're saying it was that oligarch, but now that guy's up on charges, and he's facing a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. I'd have to get his name. I can't recall off the top of my head.
What's that guy's name? He rigs all the protests, and what's his name? He's a Russian guy, old Jew.
Oh, you're talking about Soros?
That's it. I heard he put him in power.
Yeah, well, you would because that's just a trope.
Well, I don't know if it's true or not.
That's what I heard. No, people. But you're not hearing about the anti-corruption measures that are being taken by Ukraine because it's just not on people's radar. But that's one of the conditions. Now, see, Putin. No, he just wanted to give them $18 billion to bail them out of their financial problems at the time. And that was back in, during the Maidan protest. That was Putin's deal. But you know what was interesting about that? The details of that $18 billion bailout were never revealed to the public. It was all secret. And that was through Yanukovych. Yeah, that was through Yanukovych, and they never told the public exactly what the deal was. It was more money than the EU was offering by far, but it was just straight up money. Yeah. So,
I don't know where they're putting all that money.
Yeah, well, that's the problem though with Russia is, and that was the problem with Ukraine, is has been a ton of corruption there, absolutely. And then and I'm sure that there still is. It's still an ongoing problem, but the EU has demanded that Ukraine deal with those issues, and that's part of the condition, one of the main conditions that they have to address before they can have membership in the EU. People don't talk about it; they're not aware. These are really important things. And then you want to talk about what? Well, I'll let you talk now. Go ahead.
I'm just watching a fight. This Leaf bully guy's ass kicked from
What?
He squared him good, man. He got it. No.
Oh, you watching a hockey game?
All I'm saying, yeah, this is a good one. Good scrap. All I'm saying is,
yeah,
that this is going to be settled at the table, okay? And that's the way Trump wants to do it, so he says, okay? And iron things out, not by these funding all this taxpayers' money, okay? Putting everybody in the poorhouse, because a lot of these people in Congress have an agenda to take out Russia because they don't like Russia.
Yeah.
And it started from Hillary, prior to Hillary, and it's like all those. Russia went in and they found all these labs in there, okay, making all kinds of vaccines.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. I understand that those are stories that have been spun up too.
And they're all owned by the Americans. So the Americans are
no. The thing is, John, every country has biolabs. Every single country has biolabs of one kind or another.
American countries, why don't they put the biolabs in their own country? Why are they putting them in Ukraine?
We do have them in our own country.
Because they want Ukraine.
We have biolabs here too.
Is half American. Yeah. You know that, eh?
What's that?
Ukraine is half American.
What do you mean it's half American?
Yeah, it's the Americans. They rule half of it.
They rule half of it? What do you mean?
Oh, it's like Iraq. Look at Iraq. Weapons of mass destruction. Look at today. How many military bases the Americans have in Iraq? It's like they own the place. They got 800 military bases all over the Middle East there. And that's what they're trying to do. Put them everywhere.
Well, the U.S. certainly has a presence in Iraq.
They don't care about lives of kids or women or old men.
Yes,
they don't care about. That's nothing to them. Wipe them all out. They don't give a crap. All they want is power. They want the control of the oil, the Middle East.
That's not true.
Rick,
hey, John, what does Trump say about the oil in Iraq all the time?
Yeah, that's what makes you wonder about him. Exactly.
No, what's he say about it?
Take the oil.
He would have if he had been in charge during the Iraq War. He would have taken. He's said many times at his rallies. If it had been me, I would have taken the oil. Because he's just proven what you said to be opposite. The United States did not go in there and take all the oil.
He's a con artist, you know that, eh? He knows how to make deals.
Yeah.
He's a con artist. He knows how to make deals.
Well,
I've heard it from some of his biggest friends.
The United States, the United States isn't perfect, and there were the mistakes made, and we can have a larger conversation about Iraq, which is also more complex than people are being told too. But the the United States is not the evil empire that Vladimir Putin would like you to believe. And the problem here is that when I speak with you, I get a one-sided, unbalanced view.
Yeah, but I ask you a simple question. How many countries has Russia sanctioned?
We had that conversation earlier today. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
None. How many countries has the United States sanctioned? I can send it to you. All the actual.
Well, Russia. I couldn't say. I'm pretty sure that Russia has.
Quite a few of them,
Russia hasn't had the financial clout to do a lot of those kinds of things, nor has it been there, nor have they been charged with the responsibility of maintaining world stability the way the United States has.
They want to join the BRICS, but they can't. The U.S. won't let them. If they join the BRICS, U.S. is going to take them out. Sanctions. They're going to destroy Saudi Arabia if they join BRICS. It's too important to the U.S.
Do you know what do you understand the relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia with regard to the dollar and oil?
They want to join BRICS, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and they may well do that, and the United States hasn't taken them out, and they've already indicated that they're going to decouple from the U.S. dollar.
If they join BRICS, the U.S. will destroy them.
Well, that's your prediction. I'm not so sure that will come to pass. But what's the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the U.S.?
Oil.
Yeah, and why?
Lots of it.
Why? In what respect? Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know? What happened when Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard? What did they do? You had the petrodollar. In order to make sure that the U.S. dollar, that there was enough demand for it to keep it, to keep the value of the U.S. dollar up, they tied essentially the U.S. dollar to the value of oil. That's because they went to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia said, we support this move, which will facilitate larger economic growth globally. And yes, because by taking the dollar off the gold standard, it frees up the dollar to
get rich off the petrodollar.
No, you're not understand, John. You're not understanding the economics behind this.
Okay.
The U.S. dollar. The Saudis agreed to only accept U.S. dollars for oil purchases in order to maintain demand for the dollar, because in order to maintain price, you have to have demand. So U.S. dollars used to purchase oil in Saudi Arabia only, and in exchange, the U.S. agreed to provide military support there in order to provide stability for the Saudi Arabian government over all these years. That was basically the deal. So the U.S. provides, again, global security. They have a military presence there. They defend Saudi Arabia with their military, and in exchange, that's what the deal was.
Yeah. Against what? Iran can wipe them out in 24 hours.
Yeah, well, we'll see
Sit
about that.
there and go, what happened?
No, not Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, right.
No, that was basically the deal. Now, was that wise? I'm not.
Iran says if you let them in your airspace, see what happens to you. So Saudi Arabia does not want the Americans in the Israel flying in there.
Look, I'm not saying it was right or it was wrong. If I were Nixon, I probably wouldn't have made a deal like that. But that's what happened, and that's why now there's a real concern about what Saudi Arabia is doing.
They're all Jews there, you know that, eh?
What's
in
that?
Iran, they're Jews. They're all Jews there.
What?
Iran is Jewish. They're Jewish.
Iran is Jewish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Look at the history, my friend.
They're Jewish.
They're Jewish. Iranians. Jewish.
Yeah. No, they're Islamic.
Well,
it's
a lot
Islam.
of them are, yeah.
Iran is an Islamo-fascist nation.
Islamic in Israel?
Iran is a bunch. They're a bunch of fascists. It's basically Islamo-Nazis. Is what they are.
Iran is one mean.
You. Yeah, well, they can be as mean as they want, but they've got a hell of a road a long, high ladder to climb in order to get what they want.
We're to see that in the next couple of days.
Yeah, and you know what? If Iran was smart, they'd stop threatening to nuke everybody, or at least their enemies.
They're going to do it.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? And so I'm no big fan. I'm no fan of anybody that's threatening to nuke people. And you know who's been threatening to nuke people? Two countries. Russia and Iran are threatening to nuke people unless we do what they want. Capitulate or we'll nuke you.
That's the last resort.
If they're so winning and they're so confident in their position militarily and they're so strong, then why are they threatening to use their
Iran
weapon
has
of
never
last
nuked
resort
anybody.
already.
The only country that's nuked people is the States. They're the only people that have nuked.
You're going back
nobody
into
has nuked
World War
anybody.
II,
have
and
nukes.
and I'm talking about today. And a lot of lessons have been learned since that time, and the geopolitical realities are much different today than they were back then. So I sure as hell hope not. But if you don't want nukes to be used, then you shouldn't be threatening to use them. You shouldn't be threatening nuclear war. And Vladimir Putin has been doing it regularly, and Iran is doing it now.
They're just making you aware that they're a superpower.
Yeah, well, guess what? The United States is a superpower too, and the United States has nukes too. So they should watch their mouths.
Japan there and a lot of other countries. Okay?
So, and
they use a lot of dirty bombs.
and it's no longer mutually assured destruction, and that is also the problem. And that's why people who have been advocating for Iran to have the nuclear weapons are so misguided. We need fewer of them in the world, not more. And we sure as hell need these people who are threatening to nuke us to stop, because that is what will actually lead to nuclear war.
How are you going to stop? Sit at the table and iron things out.
Well, it would be really nice if we could do that, if they would come and actually engage in good faith negotiations. It's not the United States threatening to nuke people. It's not the United States executing nuclear. It's Russia that is. It's Russia that has moved nuclear weapons onto the border of Ukraine, and they're engaging in nuclear drills using tactical nukes. It's Russia that's doing that, my friend, not us.
Yeah, Russia's never nuked any country.
Well, they're getting ready to now, and they're sure as hell threatening to.
If they have to, that's the last resort, yes.
The last resort? Well, then why are they threatening now?
Right? They're a superpower.
Not nearly as powerful as they might lead us. They want us to believe. That's why he's trying to scare us, because the emperor, it seems, might not be wearing as many clothes as people thought. That's why he has Ukrainian troops inside his border right now. He's facilitated his own problem. He's created his own problem in there.
I don't like to see this violence, okay?
I don't like to see it either, John.
I'm very against it.
Yeah, so there's a real simple solution. Vladimir Putin can take his troops and go home and stop all of this nonsense.
That's not going to happen.
I know. Right.
So what? So NATO could invade Ukraine? They're already in there.
NATO not going to invade anybody.
Yeah. Ukraine's too valuable. It's like you don't understand what's happening. You're going to let someone come in and steal your stuff at your house there because
the Russians the Russians already stole Crimea. You're worried about big bad corporations going over and buying up all the farmland. That's not even happening. First of all, it's not. They have legislation to prevent it. There's leasing going on. But the larger point is, John, how much did Vladimir Putin pay for Crimea? Zero. He confiscated it, and then he went in and if anybody was opposed to his government, or he felt that you weren't in his pocket, he confiscated the factories up in the Donbass area, and he gave them to all his oligarch friends. So you want to talk about stealing stuff? That's what Russia does. That's what they've done. They stole it. They took it by force.
Yeah, well, they should just sit on the table and iron things
Well,
out.
wouldn't that be wonderful? And I'd sure like that to happen too.
That's what I would do.
Then it's time for Russia to get serious about it.
You're going to gain some, you're going to lose some. It's not going to be, you know what I mean? That land that Russia's got, they've lost that. That's gone. Okay, they're all Russian people there. That's gone. NATO. Stay out of Ukraine. Stay out of it. It's too close to Russia.
NATO, stay out of Ukraine.
They're enemies. NATO and Russia are enemies. You don't want an enemy living next door to your house, right? You don't want a bunch of robbers.
Then don't invade. Then don't invade. Don't invade a country that is much weaker and much smaller than you.
What do you think
and
the
then.
States do? What do you think the States
That's
do?
what Russia did. And then you're sitting there saying stay out of there. You can't just take it. That's what Russia's done.
Anyways,
how much of a buffer do they
I'm
need?
not going to talk you out of anything. So you got your way of thinking. I got my way.
I've got history and I've got the facts, and you got emotion.
I watch.
Share
I watch a lot of history.
What? You watch a lot of history. What history am I missing here?
Huh?
Well, I've laid it out for you, very specifically.
You don't know the history that I watch. I watch the history.
Yeah, you watched all the Russian. You watch all the Russian influences. You send me the links.
If you see what happened, that's a lot of history from World War I till today. It's a lot of history.
Lot of history. Yeah. Well, I just gave you the lowdown on why all this happened, and it's all factual. Did Russia go into Crimea? Did they take it? Yes. Why? Because he wanted it. Because he still wants it. He wants the wealth, just like Stalin did. If all he wants is a buffer zone, why doesn't he stop? Why doesn't he stop? Isn't that enough of a buffer zone? No, he still wants more. He's still pushing.
Fighting for years. The Ukraine wanted all those Russians out of there. They've been bombing them, fighting with these guys for years.
They've treated the Ukrainian people have been treated like dirt by Russia historically. The Russians don't even they view
you gotta understand Ukraine.
They basically view the Ukrainian. There's so much prejudice in Russian society toward especially like the Ukrainian speaking population. They basically view them as sort of like toothless hicks. That's kind of the equivalent that I can come up with here, where people sort of make fun of the people from the hills, like the hillbillies here in America and Canada, the rednecks. That's the way the Russians view the Ukrainians.
You make it sound like Ukraine loves Russia. They got nothing against them. They just love Russia so much, Don't you see they hate Russia? Ukraine hates Russia. Ukraine, they want all the Russian people out of Ukraine.
The Ukrainian people don't want to live under the Russian boot because they still remember things like the Holodomor, which was, where the Great Famine induced by Stalin's policies. They remember all of that. They remember living under communism and Russian rule, and they remember how they were treated, and they remember how all the wealth that they created, so much of it was just confiscated, and that the fruits of their labor were never fully realized for their society. And that's why they don't want to live under Russian rule, because they've been there before, and they don't want it. That's why they voted. You want to talk about a vote? They voted to join the EU, the European Union, and Putin didn't want it.
Putin has no problem with that.
Yes, he did.
Say that right out of his mouth.
He had a big problem with it. That's why you had the uprising in 2014.
Well, he did at first, but he doesn't care no more.
He sure as hell does. He cares in Moldova right now. He cares about that.
The European Union doesn't want Ukraine in there. They have nothing to gain.
I just told you, we were on the program. They just had the election in Moldova and a referendum there. Same thing. Do the people there want to join the European Union and do more trade with the EU? And the people voted very narrowly in favor of that. And it's not an absolute thing yet. It's a transition toward that. But they voted in favor of it, and Putin doesn't want that. He's very opposed to it, and he's been working against that there too. This is kind of like Ukraine 2.0 in Moldova, and people are saying, what's that?
I'll look into that, but you know how long it takes to join the EU? You think you're going to join them within a couple of days? You're a member.
No, the EU offered
at least 10 years.
No, you're talking about NATO. There's a difference. And the EU, the European Union, this is what was going on there actually in 2014 that led to the Maidan protest. It was all about whether they were going to join the EU or reconnect with Russia. And the people said, we don't want to reconnect with Russia. So they voted to join the EU. And Ukraine was at the time in financial trouble. And so the EU had their package and Russia had theirs. And there were two proposals on the table. And that's why you had even the US go over there and the Western powers, and Russia was there as well, and there were these negotiations and campaigns ongoing, and there was like a competition essentially between Russia and the West. Which way would Ukraine go? And that's what really facilitated, and that's what resulted in all of this, is because the people chose the EU. And Yanukovych was effectively, he left the country because the people staged the big protest, which is very much kind of like the freedom protest in retrospect that we had here. It looked very much the same. And Putin didn't like it. Yanukovych was actually his puppet. Yanukovych was Putin's boy. And because of all of that, he ended up fleeing the country. He told the people that he would sign the deal to join the EU, and in the end, he wouldn't do it. And so then it's because he was under pressure from Putin and had a series of phone calls with him during that period of time, and he ended up leaving Ukraine. And where did he go when he fled the country? Russia. He's still in Russia. He's still in Russia now. Putin wants to put him back in there. He wants his boy in. See, so he can talk about how it was a U.S. coup all he wants, and that's just bunk. It's not true. It's really not true.
It says here Ukraine and Moldova are officially on the path of membership.
That's right. They're working toward it.
And there are, I think, Ukraine's already been approved, but they're still going to be voted on.
It's still a process. It's still in process. It does take time, and dealing with corruption is one of the conditions. That's what I've been talking about. It's not easy. Because they don't want, in the West, with our financial systems, they want integrity in the systems. There's obviously corruption in any government, and there are problems, but it was really severe, and so they were like, you have to take care of this, or you can't join the EU. Like, this is just too much.
On average, it takes about 9 years for each.
It could well do that.
Current members to.
Yeah, and I know that they were trying to fast track Ukraine's membership into the EU, and Putin didn't want any of that. He wants control of Ukraine.
Who the hell wants to join the EU anyways?
Well, because especially after World War II, the EU, the West, they've been an economic powerhouse. And during the Soviet era, the system there was never really fully able to provide economically for the people, and it led to a lot of suffering.
Why did the UK get away from the EU? It took them such a fight to get out of the EU. Why did they get out? The UK, look. They're not in there.
Yeah, because
not in there.
that was really because the EU over time has become more and more sort of amalgamated, and so there were concerns because of Brexit. The Brexit movement was really about concerns about whether UK could preserve its sovereignty as being still part of the EU. And so actually there's a lot of evidence to show too that during the Brexit campaign, Russia was involved in that. They wanted the UK to separate from the EU. And so it really did, I don't really have personally, I see the pros and the cons of UK exiting EU, but UK did kind of suffer economically a bit, but I wasn't even that worried about it, because as much as they've separated from the EU, they're still very integrated, and they're obviously part of Europe, and the trade still happens. It's just that they're not actually part of the EU economic machine directly, and the way the currencies work because of EU membership is different now for the UK, and their decision making is now more nationalized than it would be if they were under or part of the EU system. Because when you become part of a broad economic system and coalition like that, then you have to agree to international standards, and there are international agreements and dispute mechanisms where you're sort of giving up some of your national sovereignty in order to participate in that, and you're saying that whatever this international body rules on this dispute or that trade dispute, that you have to accept that. And so I get that sometimes or even just trade agreements between all the different nations that might not be in your absolute interests as a nation, but maybe overall it's better. So it creates some concerns that way. So I get it. There are pros and cons on both sides, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Anyways.
And then, you know.
Yeah, I was watching the tube here. Jake Paul versus the Mike Tyson, November 15th.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up, right?
On Netflix.
Yeah.
I think Tyson's going to win.
I don't think so.
If Tyson wins, I win my argument. If you like Jake Paul,
I don't know.
If the young buck wins, you win your argument. I'll agree with you. We'll settle it that way. See, that's how you settle arguments. You don't have to.
Well, we used to do it with hockey.
They should play a game of hockey.
Remember?
Wins.
Do you remember the Canada? You remember the Canada Cup series?
Ukraine's got a good hockey team. Russia's got a good hockey team. Have a game of hockey.
There you
the
go.
Best of 7.
Sure.
Whoever wins the argument.
Well, that was what.
Isn't that better than war?
Remember, like 1974, Team Canada. Remember the Canada Cup series?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so exciting, and that was really billed as war on ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I was watching. I'm into sports. Ukraine's got a lot of tough boxers, man.
Yeah.
Like they got a lot of. They're built for some of those guys, and so does Russia. So what kind of boxing match?
Yeah.
Whoever gets their brains knocked out, they lose, and okay, Putin, you got kicked to the curb, okay? So Putin can be in the corner rubbing his back or whatever. Come on, boy, nobody can look back. You got Lewinsky in the other corner rubbing the other guy's back. The coach.
Well, this is like, you see, we got to go back to the '80s and the Rocky movies. Remember the Rocky movie where Rocky was fighting the Russian boxer played by Dolph Lundgren, and then at the end of the movie, Sylvester Stallone gives that whole speech about we have to live, we got to live together in peace, and it's just not a, it's freedom for everybody.
It's like war, man. Who wins in war, Rick? Nobody. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We even lose if we get nuked. Right now, there's so much tension with the Middle East. The next couple of days, if Iran does, Iran is gonna, from what I'm hearing, they're gonna target Israel from Iraq. They're gonna missile them. All these missiles are gonna be flying. Okay. And they're probably going to go after all the military bases in Israel. And then Israel's going to go back and say, oh, so it's like a sport, you take this, we're coming in now to take... It's like, come on, boys, grow up. Somebody pushes the wrong button, and then they all go off, and we're all half the population is going to be wiped out. That's... Nuclear's not fun, man.
Right.
I'd like to figure out a way that I can just get rid of them all, somehow just get rid of all these, make them all detonate them all so they don't work. Wouldn't that be nice if I could just do that? Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is, John.
Match. You want to fight? Have a boxing match. No weapon. Nobody gets killed. You get hurt. That's it. And televise it. Church.
Here's this is part of the nasty truth that people don't realize here in the West. It's actually the nuclear bomb that has provided the stability and prosperity that we have enjoyed since World War II. Because the U.S. was the sole nuclear power for a while, then it became, a bipolar nuclear reality with mutually assured destruction, but it was the United States as a nuclear power that was then charged with the task of maintaining political stability and military stability geopolitically, whether people care to admit it or not. And that's put the U.S. into a very difficult position. And a lot of mistakes have been made along the way, but overall, they provide that. It's because we were living under a nuclear umbrella here, insulated as well by the oceans. And as much as we talk about the petrodollar and all of that, it's really the military power of the United States that has provided the standard of living, the peace that we've enjoyed here. While wars have been waged in other parts of the world, it hasn't come here because the United States has been so damn powerful. And that it's been that peace through that strength that has facilitated peace right here on our soil. And we've enjoyed that, and we're spoiled. And I think that because of that, we largely take it for granted, and we don't really fully understand or appreciate what even the people in Ukraine are going through right now, and even the Russian soldiers who are being killed. Keep in mind, okay, that because of this war in Ukraine, well over 1 million human beings have been killed. 1 million. And that dwarfs what's going on in Gaza by far. Well over 1 million human beings extinguished. And just the horror of that. And yet the people of Ukraine persist. They want their freedom, John. They want the freedom that they were given, earned after the fall of the Soviet Union. They want to keep it.
They can have it.
Not if we let Vladimir Putin roll over them with his tanks, and he's already halfway there. We let them go in 2014 and really didn't do much about it. We let him gin up that civil war and move into the Donbass area and confiscate all the industrial area up in that area, and we didn't do much about it. And then Trump came in and gave them some Javelin missiles, and and it's just gone on from there. And then Putin went in. He went in and invaded. And now we're faced with this. And he can make all the excuses he wants. He can say what he wants about NATO this and the Western threat of that. Nothing justifies what he did. Even Roger Waters, a pro-Putin mouthpiece, it has acknowledged that. What Vladimir Putin has done in Ukraine, there is zero justification. He has no justification for going in there. None whatsoever. Now, he's got his propaganda team out there working overtime and they've been at it for a long time to convince people otherwise that, it's necessary, that we made him do it, or that the United States and NATO invaded Ukraine, or that the United States staged a coup in Ukraine. Well, even if that were the case, is it up to Vladimir Putin and Russia to do something about a coup in Ukraine? Is it their territory? Is it their country? No, it sounds to me more like it was he's saying that it was a coup against his boy, Yanukovych. That's what it is. His boy was voted out and had to leave the country with his tail between his legs because he was there to do one thing and just do the bidding of Putin.
By the way, who ordered him out?
Nobody ordered him out. He chose to leave.
Huh?
He chose to leave because he just in the end he wouldn't sign the agreement with the EU that he promised the people he would do it. So instead of doing that, he just turned tail and ran after he turned Ukrainian troops that he controlled against his own people and shot people to death. I don't remember the total number of people that were killed in the Maidan demonstrations, which got a lot worse than what we saw during the Freedom Convoy. Those soldiers shot to death many of those protesters. You can go find it online. There's video.
Oh no, I believe you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all out there, man.
I'm not saying I don't believe you.
Yeah. But then you've got propagandists like Oliver Stone who went over and basically created that Ukraine on fire piece of propaganda crap that just tells the Russian narrative, and that was so powerful and did so much damage because it was just Vladimir Putin's story is what that was, and he put a spin on it, and that was really one of the main things that was the turning point in the information war, because Oliver Stone's a very talented filmmaker, but the more I look at Oliver Stone, the more I realize that guy's anti-American, and even he with his JFK film, just there to just stir up controversy, distrust, That's what that film is really all about. I look at all the stuff that guy has done with his films, and then what he just did with Putin.
That was actual facts.
No.
That was history.
No.
Yeah. That was history.
No, he didn't prove. He wasn't able to prove anything. The reality is, we still don't know. We don't know.
That was history.
There was some history in there, but it was his version of a story that was given. That's a whole other thing. But the JFK assassination is an entry point into the whole world of conspiracy theories. That's why Oliver Stone did it. That's why Vladimir Putin uses him, because that's part of the process, and that's one of the doorways that they open up for people to sow distrust with the U.S. government and all of the U.S. and Western institutions. It's that assassination of JFK. And it's interesting when I look at that too. I become very suspect of Russia because they've gone so far out of their way to distance themselves from that, because they were worried from the very beginning that people would blame Russia and for the assassination of JFK. And Lee Harvey Oswald had absolute ties to Russia, went to Russia, worked with Russian intelligence. And people always then turn it around and say, yeah, but he was a CIA asset. Yeah, he worked with the CIA too. He was kind of a double agent. But Russia was like, oh, we can't have people thinking it was us. And I don't know. But I see the efforts that they've gone to distance themselves from it through information war. And the way that they've used it over the years, the decades, especially recently, in order to just get people all confused and just create more chaos surrounding it and have people just... That's one of the starting points. Was like, of course you can't trust your government or the CIA. It's all the CIA's fault. You get people there where you get them into that point, you blame the JFK assassination on the CIA, man, you've got them in the palm of your hand. And they're like putty. And then you can blame everything on the CIA, and that's what they do. Everything's the CIA's fault. Everything. Everything the FSB does, it's all the CIA. Everything Russia does, that's all the CIA too. Doesn't matter what it is, it's all the CIA. It's just so simplistic, it's become absurd. Russia, Putin has become absurd. Look at the fine they just levied against Google in the past week. $20 decillion they're fining Google. That's freaking ridiculous. That's greater than the global GDP. It's absurd. It's become so absurd that I would put it to you this way. Vladimir Putin has become a freaking joke. And his government is a joke. And what they're doing to people here is cruel and very destabilizing, but highly effective. But to fine Google $20 decillion US, it's ridiculous, John. The whole Russia is freaking ridiculous. Putin is ridiculous. I'm sorry. And you think people think he's strong? No, he's not. He's in deep shit at home because he has Ukrainian troops inside his own borders now. And he has some of the oligarchs questioning whether he's really, the guy for the job because he can't get it done in Ukraine. Hasn't for 2.5 years after saying that it would be over in like a week or two. Yeah, right. It didn't happen, man. He made a huge mistake. That's where Vladimir Putin is.
Here you go again. You're too
Sorry.
strung up on this.
What's that?
You're too strung up on Ukraine and Russia.
No.
You should relax a
It
bit.
is what it is, man. I'm just telling you. You're the one who keeps calling me. You're the one who keeps sending me the stuff. I'm just telling you.
Enjoy life. That's what my friends tell me to do.
Yeah,
John, with this wars and everything, you're too strung up. Just enjoy life. It happens, it happens. Don't worry about it. Enjoy life.
That's
Go
because,
on a vacation.
and we can, because we live under, we can do that here, John, because we do have we have strength. We have a hugely powerful military, and we've lived here in the first world under a nuclear umbrella and a military umbrella that has ensured that we don't have those wars on our shores. But unfortunately, because of these BRICS nations, other countries that are, they want what we have, and they're coming to get it. and they don't want to work with us. Putin doesn't want to work with us. He wants to take it, and he's damn determined to do it.
Putin, screw everybody. Just worry about your family and worry about your
as individuals. That's
life,
largely what we should be doing.
Your health, and that's the more important. Forget about those yahoos. You know what I mean?
Which is actually what I said to you in the very beginning when a lot of this stuff happened. Remember what I said? John, you and I are friends. And I said, this isn't really, these wars, like, we can't control them. And so, we shouldn't let this get in the way of our friendship, and we can have discussions. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's like the chat lines. I go on there, and I listen, and I'm going, I gotta correct this guy. He's all wrong. You know what I mean? I try
that's fair.
I try. Like right now, I'm watching this Iowa. They're saying that Trump lost Iowa, and they're saying Iowa is the key for the election. Whoever loses Iowa loses the election.
Iowa?
Iowa.
Okay.
And right now, the posters, Trump's getting killed in Iowa.
It's so close, man. Yeah. And I in my gut, like I just don't know. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know either. But he's losing Iowa, and they're saying that's the key to the elections is Iowa. Iowa, whoever wins Iowa wins the election. I've been hearing that for years. Every election, that's the key state to win the election is Iowa, and Pennsylvania, of course, but Iowa is the key. And they all say whoever wins Iowa wins the election. And now I'm reading that on the TV there that Trump's losing Iowa, according to the kind of posters of the Americans' best pollsters drop shockingly news numbers in Iowa. Trump, yeah, he's losing. And I told you I don't like Harris because she's well, I don't know, she's like a Hillary, Hillary will be like working with her. She treated everybody like dirt. Her security, everybody. She treated everybody like dirt. And that's what these people, they're at the top of the food chain, and they treat everybody else like dirt. So are they going to treat the people like dirt? Are they going to say, screw them? The Democrats have been doing that for years, though. Treating like the blacks like dirt. They say, oh, we're going to get it, and then they forget it. As soon as they win the election, they forget all about them, Same in Canada, As soon as they win the election, they forget all about everything, about you and everything else. They don't care about you. But
I don't know. I think some of these politicians do get in there because they just want the paycheck and the pension, but other ones I think are there because they do want to give back. They do want there for public service. I think sometimes they just get caught up in things, and they also find that they don't have as much power as they think they're going to have, right? And I think the public also has sometimes unrealistic expectations for their senators or their members of parliament, or just even their mayors. How much can they actually get done? There's a limit to anything any politician can do, but some of them are good people. A lot of them. Keeping in mind that especially here in Canada, and I think in the States too, people say, well, we need a government of the people. We do have a government of the people, largely. We get to elect. Like, you look at who's on the ballot in any given election, and who do you have to choose from? It's more than just two parties in Canada. It's more than even two or three. We have a whole bunch of parties, right? Really, we do. But people always vote for the brands, liberal, conservative. But who's on the ballot? It's the farmer. It's the lawyer. It's sometimes a housewife. It's your neighbor. And those are the people that we actually do end up sending to Ottawa as MPs. The people who end up in cabinet are often richer or well-heeled. They, you could say they're selected sometimes, and that's because they, prominent people like Trudeau with a name, they'll get people with big money behind them to sort of get to finesse them into or shoehorn them into a position of power.
That's what it's all about, lobbyists. They're the ones that it's like Harris. She's got all the elites behind her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much of that going on. It's too much big money in politics. There's no question about that.
You know, all the powerful people behind her. And,
but I think the Canadian system, though, is better than what they have in the States because of that. We have, you know, it's not perfect. We have big problems, but nowhere near the kind of problems they have in the States. And that's why I think we need to just keep what we have and fix it. I don't like listening to people who want to tear it all apart. It's too dangerous. And we've got a pretty good system, and it is already beginning to self-correct. We just have to work at it more. And we've got too much foreign influence in our government. We need to flush that out and take further steps to it. And actually, there is actually a bill right now, I think it's Bill 65, that addresses that. So that's on the table. It's only gone through first reading, I think, maybe second, but it's out there. And steps are being taken. We just have to keep pushing. Freedom is not free, but that doesn't mean you have to always go to war. It means you have to work at it every day. You have to protect it.
It's been going down since the Lincoln days, you know, feuding over elections. You know what I mean? It's the people always get shafted. That's the people like us get shafted.
Kind of yes and no. I mean, if you get sick, you go to the hospital. They're going to take care of you, though, John, right? If you're really down on your luck, if you're really,
I gotta go for an ultrasound tomorrow. Yeah. You know, I made an appointment last week. I said I want to get one, and they got me in, and
that's right.
Within a week and a half.
Yeah.
It's on a Sunday. But I'll go. You know, like.
So there you go. I mean, like that's not getting the shaft. That's getting your test done.
I don't mind an ultrasound, you know, and I requested it, you know, so.
My garbage gets picked up on Tuesday. My road is paved. My neighborhood is generally safe, but under Trudeau, it's getting worse. We've got a lot of homeless people kind of wandering through the area now that were zero, 10 years ago. Zero. Now,
I went by the encampment last night, the one on Sherburne there that they cleared out. Yeah. Last time I went down there, I was partying with these guys. They're all very friendly. Yesterday, I went to a show there, and I parked my car right on College there, and the park's right. I didn't see one tent. The only thing I seen was 2 big teepees. I was gonna walk over there and see what they were up to, but I said I just want to get home. 2 big teepees. That's the only thing left there. All the tents are gone. You see Tent City. They cleared it out. I guess they don't space for these people. That's why they're out there. They want housing. They want a roof over their head, Yeah. And unfortunately, taxpayers going to top up so much. We pay too much taxes as it is. And with all these wars, we're getting like I don't know about you, but I'm getting fed up with the cost of living, the taxes. It's crazy. It's never been like this. And
actually, I kind of remember when it was getting like this. It was like there was a time period like in the 70s under Carter that you started to get like this because very similar kind of approach to the economy. And then there was a time in the 80s. I remember when I was really young and I was going to go buy my first car. And I went to a car dealer and the interest rates were sky high at the time because of inflation and just.
I remember some tough times. We had some really bad recessions.
Yeah.
It affected a lot of people. Yes.
Gas lineups. Remember under Carter, there were lineups at gas stations. There was gas rationing. In some places, they had to. You could only buy gas if your license plate number had an odd number, and on the other days it was for the even numbered cars. They had stuff like that going on. Then they lowered the speed limit to 55 mph to save gas. And then Sammy Hagar had to come out with his I can't drive 55. Yeah, so those were the days, man. We've been here before.
I miss those things. I used to. That's when Toronto was Toronto. You know, like now, it's crazy. The roads, the bicycles, everything is like $12 for a hamburger. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. Everything goes up except your wages. You know, mind you, I screwed up in life. I could have been multi-millionaire right now, like if I didn't.
You screwed up. Come here and sit in this chair, man. You want to talk about screwing up?
I could have had a lot of property right now, you know, and I could have had a lot of stuff, but I put the money in the wrong places. What can I tell you?
I don't know. You seem to be doing pretty good. You talk about your online, not your online betting, but your sports betting and stuff. You're pretty good at it.
I'm not starving. I buy top of the line everything. You know, I don't buy cheap shit. I buy top of the line. I eat well. You know, I don't have a problem with money, but a lot of people do, and I know a lot of people are struggling. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm all right. But I'm smart. I don't have no debt. Maybe that's why I don't own nothing. So I hate debt. I learned in life, you always have to pay yourself first. You make a paycheck, you take 10% of that and put it away. Like you've never seen it again. Just put it away. And now I've got all this money there. The stock market, I'm a little bit underwater right now, obviously. But I can take it out, but I don't want. I don't like to lose a buck. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna have to wait. Hopefully things turn around. But it's the economy. You know, it's the COVID is what.
Yeah.
You know.
It set the world upside. It turned the world upside down.
I had all the best stocks: Tesla, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. I had all these stocks, and I sold them. And if I held on to them right now, I'd be a lot richer than I am now. And when I was young, the property was so cheap. You know, everybody was buying houses, and they're telling me, buy property, buy houses, buy property. And I said, no. And if I did, you know, I'd be worth a lot of money right now. A lot richer than I am. Well, I'm not rich, but I'm just about I'm about 800,000 short to be a millionaire. just joking. I'm about 800,000 short of being a millionaire.
Well,
that one. That's funny.
Well, John, I'm glad you called in tonight. Everybody's been missing you, and me too. Even though we debate on some of these issues of the day, I know that these things will pass, and we'll get on to other things in the future. And we will agree more on those things than we're agreeing on these. So, you know, I appreciate you.
Yeah, Tuesday will be an interesting day, and hopefully nothing's going to happen with this Iran. And there's too much shit going on that I don't like, and I don't know. Maybe I should just take my friend's advice and just carry on in life and forget about it. If it happens, it happens. What can you do? There's no use racking your brains over it, you know, arguing, and you know what I mean. And that's, you know, but I sometimes I hear shit. You know, I like to correct you. You know, I like to put my 2 cents in. You know, like
sure, that's fine.
But we don't agree on a lot of things.
Right now.
Still right now, right? There's a lot of things we don't agree with, but it is what it is, and if it happens, it happens. What can I tell you? We're not gonna. It might happen in our sleep, you know. We just get poof, you know. Who knows?
We both agree that we don't want that to happen. And
no.
And if the nukes start flying, you know, we're both in the same boat together. The same bombs are going to hit you that hit me, and I don't want that.
I'm in financials and shit like that, and I'm seeing a lot of bad signs, Rick, of the economy. We're going back to depression days. I hope it doesn't happen, but we've had it good so long. Too long we've had it good. There's always, like you said, there's cycles. It goes up, and then you come down to a depression, a recession. Then it goes back up. You get out of it, come back down. I don't know, boy. This time it might be a deep breath. Christmas will tell a lot how much money people spend.
Yeah, but you know, as much as I've been pessimistic, I've been looking at it, especially over the last few months, and I'm more optimistic than I was for a long time. A bunch of reasons why. It's technology. There's a theory. I actually started to think about this in sort of abstract terms myself. I call it economic velocity. And I think there's an economic theory out there called, what was it called? I did look it up, and it was actually exactly what I was thinking about myself. But I think it's called economic time displacement. And even Marx and Adam Smith, I think, both looked at this. But because we have technology, it's going to level. It can be used to level out the peaks and the valleys of economics, the highs and the lows, or maybe not even level them out. It decreases the time of duration, and so that's we could talk about that more another night. It's a very interesting concept, and I'm very optimistic about it. That coupled with artificial intelligence, which can result in massive increases in productivity. We can grow our way out of this and reduce the duration of the valleys using economic velocity to reduce the pain, and maybe even make it get us to the point where we don't even feel it, very little of it. And I think we've already experienced that. If this had been the 1930s and we went through this same economic cycle with the pandemic, I think we would be in a depression. We would have been in a depression a while ago. But there are all these other factors that have come into play. And no, it didn't happen. And so I'm more optimistic than I certainly was, and we can talk about it more another night.
Well, hopefully you're right, because I don't want to see the 20s and 30s come back again.
Yeah, me either. And I don't wish that on Russia or any of the BRICS nations. And I just hope that as much as what they're doing is an assault on our economy, I hope that they take a more cooperative approach and that we can integrate and work together, the two systems together.
That's what I believe in.
Me too. I hope so. But
you know, it's nice to buy cheap gas from Russia. I don't see a problem with that.
No, and in times of peace, that's what we've been doing for a long time anyway. It all goes on to the global market, and that's what happens. You know, that's a commodity, right?
I miss the Russian vodka. You know, it was made out of real potatoes. The vodka you buy today is all barley. I don't want it barley.
Yeah.
It's probably sprayed with pesticides. Who knows, you know? But back in the old days, Russia's got real potato vodka. I've been buying this Polish vodka. It's made out of potatoes. But, you know, I like drinking a little bit of vodka here and there. You know what I mean? But it's refreshing. But I don't drink a whole bottle. But a bottle lasts me a long time. But it's just
can't relate. I don't even like the taste of vodka. I don't drink, and I just.
Well, it's all party. You had a party today.
I just don't want to. I don't want to drink vodka or anything else.
Vodka
I just
said you
don't
get out
like
of
it.
potatoes. That's what vodka is. Get out of potatoes.
I don't drink alcohol, so I just don't. Bah.
No.
All yours. Have at it.
Yeah, I don't drink. Tonight I had nothing. I'm not supposed to drink for the ultrasound, mind you, but I had nothing. But yesterday I bought a cooler. They're called Garage. They're a liquor store. They're called Garage. They're really small bottle. I have one of those, a small bottle. It tastes like Kool-Aid. But it doesn't get you drunk. I guess you gotta drink maybe 10 of them to get drunk, but I'm not drinking 10, you'll go blind.
Yeah.
It's all sugar. But, Rick, enjoy life. Forget about arguing with this stupid wars and shit. You know, what happens, happens. We got no control anyways. You could argue till the moon cows come home. You're not gonna change no one's mind. They have an agenda. They have an agenda on the other side, and you're not gonna change it. No matter what you do, you can scream all you want, argue all you want. There's no change. You have no control what's going on. It's a cycle going on there, and people don't understand it.
For somebody who can't change anything, it seems like a lot of people are very worried about what I say.
Well, you're not going to change it. Hey, you can say whatever you want, but you're not going to change anything.
I don't know.
It's still going to happen. Whatever's happening is going to happen.
Everything has an impact. Everything has an impact in ways that we don't even know. Media is very powerful, and you don't know the impact that it ultimately has, but it has an impact. What you're doing right now has an impact. That's why you have to take it very seriously. Be very careful. Be responsible about it. Be careful what you post in the chat. Be careful what you say on here. Be careful what you just say, because it does have impact. It does. And the politicians do care what you think. They do care what you say, and they do care how you vote. That's why they spend millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and billions of dollars to campaign and influence
That's why a lot of people don't vote.
Yeah, well.
You know, I think I told you, but ProLine, they have an app. I mean, you can bet on the Trump, Kamala Harris president. They're giving you $215 for Harris. You put $100, you win $215, and $1.53 for Trump. You bet 100 on Trump, you get 153. And I went to the store to see if I can put 100 on Trump. And they won't. They don't. They want you to download the app and sign up. If I do that, you know, I'm a Republican. I don't like the liberals who go, oh, and if you do the same thing for the Canadian election, you got Trudeau and all that. So I put $100 on Polyev, and they go, and then the liberals win. They go, oh, we got you now. You voted Polyev. No cookie for you. No soup for you today. You be thoughtful. Put that way.
Well, listen, I'm really glad you called in. We got to wrap this up. It's getting late. This has been a really. I thought this was going to be a short podcast. Then it'd be a little longer.
Yeah. All right. Nice talking to you, Rick. Take it easy. And Tuesday's another day. That's going to be the big day. And hopefully things will get better from then. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I missed you. Everybody missed you. You've been gone. Don't do that. We want you around. We like you. We love you. Yeah.
I don't know everybody too. I got no problem with the people on here. I got banned 4 times now.
Well, it was.
All right, Rick. Good night. I gotta go.
Maybe you gotta get out of jail free with me. Okay. From card. No problem. All right. See you. Bye. All right, and John's talking about how I should just go get in my car and drive, and and yeah, he's probably right. We should all probably just put it on the back burner. And so tonight, I still have this song queued up here from our Cruising for Freedom SST car show collection. I'm going to run it here again, a little black Corvette. It's just because it's all about cruising, it's all about freedom, it's all about American muscle and the American dream. And folks, I love you guys all too. And I will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the flip side.
She's sitting in the driveway all dressed in black. Got that slick paint, you know she got the knack. Chrome glimmers in the moonlight, like a star on the rise. When I slide behind the wheel, I feel alive. Oh, I can't deny, got the little black vest, she's my midnight ride. Rolling down the highway with my girl by my side. Fast as a whisper, smooth as a dream. In my little black van, we're a rock and roll team. Leather seats and a rumble that shakes the ground. With the top down low, we're lost in the sound. That engine growls like a lion's roar. Every mile we take, I just want more. Black vest, she's my midnight ride. Rolling down the highway with my girl by my side. Fast as a whisper, smooth as a dream. In my little black van, we're a rock and roll team. Oh, the world slows down when we hit that street. The wind in our hair can't beat me. With the guitar laying under the stars so bright. In my little black van, everything feels right.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.